Currently, it's 77 degrees and mostly sunny. The weather is sponsored by i3 Broadband. And with the kids home for summer, your house is a digital zoo of streaming and gaming. Switch to i3 Broadband and upgrade your summer. Head to i3broadband.com/radio or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade today because life runs better on fiber and i3 Broadband is here for you. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Chris Ranchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Good morning, friends. What 80s sitcom is this music from? What is this?
I can just see your head in a freeze frame where you turn around, Chris Ranchi, and then I'm
Is
going
my
up the
name real
stairs. I'm going up the stairs. I turn around and laugh. Amy Mark Scores.
Well, this is kind of a sitcom. This show.
We were just talking about that. I think we are. Do you think we're more sitcom or more trusted voice of St. Louis?
Let me get back to that.
We're
We're trusted voice of sitcoms. Okay.
Trusted voice of sitcom.
314-436-7900 to chime in today. Calls and texts, voice messages, leave them on the Odyssey app. Really easy to do it. You know what the Odyssey app is? Amy, do you know what that is?
Yeah, I sure do. It's on my phone. I listen every day, all day. I take it with me everywhere I go, which is not many places, but I have it.
You do have it, and you can listen to the podcasts as well. Like, go back and get the podcast if you missed the show, any of the shows, and you can listen to Cardinals baseball live. If you are a visual person, you can watch us on YouTube and Facebook, KMOX news pages, find that, and you can get us on Twitter as well. Watch the show there. Follow us at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top three stories everyone will be talking about.
It is Election Day here in St. Louis, primary day, and also amendments on the ballot. And after today, no more political ads for a while.
Like
and then they get really gross. So enjoy it.
No. Have you guys heard that one? That's right, baby.
Yeah. Be a patriot and go vote.
I'm
and
so
then stop at
excited
the
about
political
this.
ads.
I love voting. I feel so patriotic. Oh, thank you, Matt. They're going to play that at my funeral.
Which is tomorrow.
Although it's going to be, you're a grand old bag.
Oh, dude, is she ever.
Sorry.
That's so hurtful.
Can you read the number 2 so we can get on with it?
I just got called a grand old bag by a child.
You know, I heard it didn't even...
child is pushing the buttons over there.
I heard it didn't even faze me.
Well, you should be fazed by this. Well, maybe not. The Fed has kept interest rates steady. Nobody knows what that means. Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, will be joining us at 10 o'clock. He gives us all the answers.
And the trade deadline in baseball happened yesterday, and the Cardinals were active. We'll tell you what they did in a moment. And then they come back and they beat the Yankees last night. That was a fun one, dude. Boy, was that a lot of fun. So
it was not fun for a while because
a minute.
Matt and Ranj were blowing up my phone.
Well, that was really Matt Pajeski. So I will admit that when it was 6-0 Cardinals, I turned it off. What was I doing? I don't know. I was busy doing other things. And then I get the text from Matt that says, well, the Cardinals are bad. And I was like, what happened? And then they were losing 7-6.
Yeah.
They blew a 6-0 lead, and I went, come on, man. And then within minutes, they come back, they retake the lead. Alec Burleson had a night last night. And what's amazing about Burley is that he was a potential trade piece for the Cardinals. And it sounded like when we talked to Greg Amsinger from MLB Network yesterday on Gas House Gang, according to him, that chatter had started to cool down a little bit. And so then, okay, we thought, all right, well, I guess Burleson's going to stick around. He did, and it's a good thing he did because he had 3 home runs last night, which doesn't happen very often. It was pretty awesome.
Not at all. And I'll just give you the text from Matt. I know this is inside baseball, no pun intended. At 8:51, Matt texted, the Cardinals are bad. At 9:06, he texted, never mind, we back.
It changed within a few minutes. It was really quick.
I saw the text, and then I checked in, and I heard Rooney. I heard John Rooney call the home run to put him ahead, the Nathan Church home run. And I was about to text back to Matt, you were saying, and then I didn't do that. And then they piled on. Burleson with another home. Man, yesterday ended up being a really, I think, successful day for the Cardinals because they had a couple of things they needed to accomplish. One of them was beat the Yankees. They did that. But prior to that, Chaim Bloom, who is the president of baseball operations, he was active. He did exactly what the Cardinals needed, and that is trade guys who had value to other teams because let's be honest about what this season is. Yes, of course, as I have been saying for weeks, I still think they can compete this year. And by compete, I mean be in the playoff conversation at the end of the year. And it's only because the National League is not very good. I mean, there are a couple of teams really, really good, and then everybody else is just okay. And the teams they are competing with for a wild card are not all that great either. So, just by definition, Cardinals can still be in the conversation late in the year. But the most important thing for them is to continue to improve the talent in the organization. And I think they did about as well as you could possibly do. I mean, just across the board, looking at, national outsiders or insiders, but people who are not in St. Louis, looking at the trades around the country. I mean, most people are giving them an A or a B for what they accomplished yesterday. So they did trade Dustin May and JoJo Romero to the Brewers, which is interesting in itself. They get a couple of outfield prospects in return who are both, at this point, decent. They're young prospects, but they are decent. And then Lars Nootbaar was traded to the Diamondbacks, and they get a couple of pitchers in return there and a player to be named later. So what these guys turn into down the road, don't really know. One of them could contribute as a reliever fairly soon. But I think he did what he could do, and he did a really good job. I'm happy with it, and it's tough to really know how good of a job he did until maybe 2, 3, 4 years down the road. But still, this is a good start. This was, I think, another job well done by him.
And a couple of notes on that are not like my own original thoughts fully. And I say that because listening to the breakdown yesterday on KMOX, right? Bernie Miklasz was on, Kevin Wheeler was on, a couple of things about the trade to the Milwaukee Brewers for their prospects. So first, trading within the division isn't quite as unusual, maybe as historically it would be, but Bernie made a great couple of points. Well, Dustin May and JoJo Romero were going to be free agents anyway. So the Cardinals are not worried about the Brewers beating them down the road with those guys, partly because those guys are free agents anyway, and partly because the Brewers were beating the Cardinals without those guys. The Cardinals can't beat the Brewers right now anyway. Secondly, with getting the two of the Brewers prospects, I don't know if they were, say, 14 and 18 or 14 and 16, somewhere around there in their prospect rankings. And what Bernie pointed out is the Brewers are so deep with their young talent that a guy that ranks 14th or 16th in the Brewers pool might actually be top 10 in a lot of other organizations. Yeah. And so, if anything, Bernie said it's slightly more interesting that the Brewers traded prospects to the Cardinals than the Cardinals would be trading, free agents, future free agents to the Brewers. But then again, the Brewers and the Cardinals are in different timelines right now. The Brewers need to win now. The Cardinals are future looking.
I would say if the Cardinals end up getting one guy who becomes a decent major league contributor from yesterday, down the road, he becomes a decent major league contributor. That's a job well done based on where the Cardinals are, what they had to give up. Because let's be honest, they didn't have a Tarek Skubal to give up, who was the best pitcher arguably the best pitcher in the American League. And he honestly, I don't think that they were very happy with the return they got in Detroit for him. And knowing that, I think the Cardinals did really well with Dustin May. Now, if I'm the Brewers,
yes,
this is on the other side. If I'm Milwaukee, if I'm a Brewers fan, I like Dustin May, but I am underwhelmed. And the reason I'm underwhelmed is They have a legitimate World Series chance this year to win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all they have to do is get past the Dodgers first. And now, think about this. It might be Dustin May, who is their number 2 starter. And I like him, and he had a pretty good year for the Cardinals. But he's probably going to go up against Tarek Skubal in the playoffs.
So my question about that, what the Dodgers gave for Skubal, I've heard several people say, and I know we're talking to Vinny Rottino, the Milwaukee Brewers analyst,
yep.
later
Former
today,
player.
that Milwaukee is so deep, as I mentioned, with their prospects, that if they wanted to, they could have gotten Skubal.
Absolutely.
And if you are a Brewers fan, you should be livid that the Brewers didn't give up some prospects for Skubal, because like you said, that World Series window is so rare and so short that it is worth sacrificing some of your future to win a championship now. And when you look at the return that the Dodgers got for Skubal, the Brewers 100% could have, and you could argue should have done that.
I could not agree more. They've been to the playoffs so much in the last decade, and they don't get there. They don't get to the World Series. They certainly haven't won a World Series. They haven't been to one in 40 years. So 40 plus years. So if I'm them, I'm looking at my team, looking at the rest of the league and the American League and saying, we could beat anybody.
Yeah.
So why not make this team even stronger and go take a big swing? And they didn't do it. I mean, I really like May, and I'm happy for him that he's been pitching well. And he had a rough patch there this season, but he's no Tarek Skubal. So I don't know. If I'm the Brewers, I am underwhelmed. They did improve their team, but I am still underwhelmed. Happy for the Cardinals, though. They got a nice return,
The Cardinals
I think.
got a great return. And not to keep going back to this, but just because I have a hard time, I know how rare championship windows are.
Yep.
And if it does come down to May Skubal and the Dodgers do beat the Brewers, isn't this something that you look back at for years?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think you always do. I think you always do. I mean, I know that. I know the general manager of the Brewers will be the most nervous person on earth if that matchup happens, game 2 of a division series or whatever. By the way, Lars Nootbaar, I don't get to say Newt Larsbar anymore until we play the Diamondbacks. But Lars Nootbaar, immediately after hearing he was traded, he said this to the Cardinals social media team. Do we have it? Yes or no?
In just 1 second.
Well, 1 second.
Well, I will say this. Andrew Egger of the Bulwark is personally even more sad because he believes he started the Newt chant.
That's true. We'll ask him about it next week.
Yeah. Here's Lars.
Hey, Cardinal fans. Lars Nootbaar here. It's an emotional time for me. I just want to thank you guys for everything. From being an 8th round draft pick in 2018 to being on the team in 21 on that 17-game win streak, being able to play with legends in the game in 2022, winning the division, all the way to this day forward. You guys have had my back and gave me great support from a kid that wasn't a high prospect at all. You guys embraced me like I was, and St. Louis was a special place. It's the only place I've ever known, and I bought a house there and everything, and this is tough, but I just want to thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done. You guys mean way more to me than I've ever meant to you guys, and thank you.
That is Lars Nootbaar yesterday in his Cardinals uniform upon learning he was traded, and he was emotional. So, he's been around for a long time now, and that's what happens. It's business, as they say. So I do wish him well.
He gets to hang out with Arenado again.
He does get to hang out with Nolan Arenado, so he's going to be in Arizona. Hope they keep the roof closed because it's hot there. It's like 140 all the time. So enjoy it. Anyway, Cardinals make deals, and the Gas House Gang is today at 12. Oliver Marmol is on the show. We'll talk to the Cardinals manager, as we always do on Tuesdays at noon. So he'll be with Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and me, and we will talk about the deadline and where the Cardinals are right now. Also, primary day today, election day today in St. Louis. Did you vote? It's a Chris and Amy show on KMOX.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Sometimes it feels like the news is full of things that have never happened before, and that is not exactly true. In fact, it may have happened this very week, hundreds or thousands of years ago. I'm Sally Helm, host of the podcast History This Week from the History Channel. Trade embargoes? Thomas Jefferson tried them. Rent too high? We've been arguing about that for a while. Each episode is proof. The past isn't that far away. Listen to History This Week, available now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress, but one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Steve Ellman leads St. Charles County. Ellman has fought for smart growth and moratoriums on apartments and data centers. Ellman doubled our parks, increased our conservation land, and helped create 50,000 new jobs. Ellman has built hundreds of miles of new roads. Ellman prioritized law enforcement and put officers in schools, making our county safest in the region. And Steve Ellman eliminated the county's real and now personal property taxes. While Steve Ellman leads, Bill Eigel misleads. Eigel promised to cut your property taxes for 8 years, but never did. Instead, he didn't pay his own taxes. Eigel was rebuked by President Trump's lawyer for misleading and scamming donors to pay for his campaigns. Eigel said he's against data centers, but he never voted to regulate data center abuses, but did vote to give tax dollars to benefit the company behind the St. Charles Data Center.
Paid for by the committee to elect Steve Ellman, Michael Summer Jr., Treasurer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world, protecting America, fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Still here, still trusted. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It is primary day in in St. Louis. It is a day that you can vote for amendments. A lot of discussion about amendments 4 and 5. I'd be really curious to see how those shake out. I think 5 is pretty much cooked.
I think it's cooked.
And that is the income tax in Missouri, the elimination of it for, it would take some time. It wouldn't be immediate, but they would phase it out. And there has been concern about, well, how are you going to make that money up? What is sales tax going to look like? How much is that going to be? How much money are we going to save? And what does it do to the budget of the state? So it seems like way too many issues with that proposal.
Like, it was undercooked. Like, even if you support the general idea of it.
Half-baked.
Half-baked. It wasn't even al dente. It was half-baked. And that's frustrating for, I think, people who would otherwise be supportive of it and say, hey, I'm open. I'm listening. But then there was nothing to listen to, if that makes sense. You know, fill out the blank spaces of how you're going to cover the gap. And like I said, as someone who now has interviewed multiple people about Amendment 5, both pro and against, I find it very confusing. I feel like I have more questions than answers, partly because, like you said, the way the bill is written, it feels half-baked. So even if you're not against the idea, even if you said, you know what, Missouri needs all the help it can get as far as luring tourists and businesses and people to move here, I'm open to it. How are we different than Kansas? Because I compare us to Kansas and our out-of-state tourism dollars more than I compare us to Tennessee, which has both Nashville, which is moving in the exact opposite direction of St. Louis. It's skyrocketing, and the most visited national park in the country. So I have a hard time comparing us to Tennessee, which has triple our tourist dollars. We're much closer to Kansas. It didn't work in Kansas. And like I said, I'm not saying for and against in this conversation. I'm just saying I have a lot of questions about it.
Well, when it comes to Tennessee, and that is the state that Governor Kehoe likes to compare us to, I think that, or our situation to eliminating the state tax, first of all, their tourism was starting to really blow up way before they eliminated the state income tax. And not even just tourism, it's the population started to go up in Nashville way before that. The tax had nothing to do with people moving to Nashville and the surrounding areas. It was because it was attractive. So people were going there. That's, I think, number one when it comes to Tennessee, is that we're just not there. And all you need, and I don't like anecdotal evidence to prove a point, because sometimes, yeah, your one experience with something does not mean that's the big picture. That's how everybody feels. But I don't know that I have ever met anybody, and I've talked to about traveling to Nashville or going to Tennessee versus here, and they've chosen Missouri first. I literally don't know anybody who's done that. And like, okay, I'll put it this way. I lived in Chicago for a long time. I know tons of people who would take weekend trips to Nashville. Mm-hmm. I know zero people who took weekend trips to St. Louis.
Other than to go to a Cardinals game, maybe?
Other than a Cubs game. If the Cubs or the White Sox happen to be in town, then yeah, they might. But they just go to Nashville just to go to Nashville.
So 314-436-7900. We'd love to hear from you. Are you voting? Are you not voting? What are you excited to vote for or against? I don't know. Whatever you feel like sharing. We would love to hear your experience on primary day. 314-436-7900.
All right. So, yes, we do want to hear from you. And we're also going to talk to Blake Ashby, who is a Democratic author and leader, and he's based out of Ferguson. And we're going to talk to him about the socialism idea and the rise of it, how prominent it is, what we can learn from this. Is it a problem? Just all of that. And we will talk to him because, by the way, on the primary ballot today, Wesley Bell in District 1 is going back up against Cori Bush, who is running again for that first congressional district seat. And so we will we'll see what he has to say about socialism in the Democratic Party. When we come back, though, we're going to talk to Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath, who is a neuroscientist, and He has a book called The Digital Delusion: How Classroom Technology Harms Our Kids' Learning and How to Help Them Thrive Again. So, talking about ed tech, is it good for our kids? We'll talk to him when we come back on KMOX.
We don't just cover St. Louis, we share it. That's why the stories you hear every morning aren't just headlines. They're about your neighborhood,
Ferguson's police chief took the stand in day one of
your roads,
Westbound 270 North County just had some volume on
your Cardinals,
Riley O'Brien strikes out the side in the ninth inning.
your community.
I'm Tom Ackerman.
This is Debbie Monterey.
I'm Megan Lynch.
Total Information AM, weekdays on KMOX.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
78 degrees and pretty gorgeous out there outside Studio B. Hazy sunshine today. I definitely saw that. A high of 90. Tonight, a crystal clear sky and a low of 66. Weather sponsored by Ricken Financial.
Join Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement, every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX. And get more, including the Kickin' with the Rickens podcast, when you visit RickenFinancial.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
What if your bathroom felt less like a routine and more like a daily escape? Glover here from my friends at Michael's Baths. They can transform ordinary bathrooms into beautiful, comfortable spaces for homeowners across St. Louis and all the surrounding areas. And now they're introducing new premium walls, perfect for those who love the look of stone without the upkeep. It's sleek, durable, and designed to elevate your space. For a limited time, enjoy a free rain shower head or upgrade with safety features like grab bars or a built-in seat. Call us at 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
We are getting some traction here at the Capitol on getting those screens off those desks for K through 5. And it's supported in science, too. There's a great book by Dr. Horvath. His book's Digital Delusion. He was one of them that spoke at Senator Ted Cruz's hearing in January. Even the federal government, in a bipartisan way, is looking at the screens and even pointing to the screens in education.
That was a discussion we had earlier this year with Representative Tricia Burns out of District 63 in Missouri. That is the Wentzville area. And the book that she referenced is The Digital Delusion: How Classroom Technology Harms Our Kids' Learning and How to Help Them Thrive Again. And we are joined now on the Quiver River Electric guest line by the author of that book, cognitive neuroscientist, educator, Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath is with us on KMOX as we examine ed tech and what that really does for students. Is it bad for them? Is it not all that bad? Well, we talked to Dr. Cooney Horvath now. How are you doing? Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me on.
So that was a nice endorsement from a representative here in the state of Missouri. So tell us about your book and what the foundation of it is and what the argument is.
Yeah, so we've noticed that since we've been recording cognitive abilities, that each generation of people have kind of outperformed their parents. So going back to the late 1800s, every generation is better at literacy, numeracy, executive functioning, IQ, you name it, than their parents were. And the argument we always gave was school is where we cut our cognitive teeth. Every generation spends more time in school than their parents, ergo better cognition. Until Gen Z. Gen Z is the first generation in history to go down on all these recorded measures compared to us, even though they're spending more time in schools. So that was just this big question that a lot of us have been trying to address. What is going on? And tracing it back to schools, I've been able to trace it basically back to once tech becomes a mainstay in education, as opposed to just a peripheral, that's when a lot of these scores, a lot of these performance markers start to go down. So we've got a big kind of red flag sitting above the technology in classrooms.
Yeah, and I've read multiple articles, whether it is The Atlantic or Fortune or even educational magazines, that draw a direct line that America's math and reading scores plummeted when schools ditched textbooks for screens. And I experienced this as a tutor. I'm old school. I was homeschooled. You know, we were old school classical education. I helped homeschool students. I helped students who learned in public and private schools. And one thing as I noticed as I tutored, I would ask the kids at the public schools and private schools, can you bring your textbook home? And they said, well, we don't have a textbook. And this blew my mind. And it used to be a couple of classes. Now there are some kids that don't have any textbooks at all.
And you'd assume that these decisions would have been made on learning purposes, but all those decisions were made, so far as I can tell, for administrative ease. Like having a digital textbook is easier for the school than a physical textbook. But then exactly as you said, when you track the learning from it, the way human beings read is three-dimensional location is very important for our memory. And every book has an unchanging three-dimensional location. Every word has a very static place that will never change. That becomes part of what you learn. When we read that same exact stuff on a screen, the words are going from the bottom of the screen through the middle out the top. There is no three-dimensional location, so an entire aspect of human memory gets dumped. So what happens with digital text is after about 4 minutes, your brain basically sends you a signal that says, we're not actually learning this. Like, we don't know where any of this is supposed to go. So we just start skimming. So if digital textbooks, if the goal was to skim, that's a great resource. But if the goal is to genuinely learn and understand what you're reading, it's just not a well-suited tool to the outcome you want.
Just to hone in on the scientific side of that, of reading a paper book, textbook versus a screen. One thing my mom really emphasized when I homeschooled was transcription. We had to transcribe by hand our notes. We had to transcribe by hand our math problems and how that lit up different parts of the brain. Is that something that you looked at as well?
100%. So this is my favorite part. So with the book, we can go into all the data, and the data is wickedly clear that tech is not good for learning. But I had much more fun diving into the why. Why are these things not working? And exactly like that, handwriting versus typing. A lot of people think that we are a brain inside of a body. You're just kind of gray matter hitching a ride. And they mistake that. The truth is you are a body. You're not in the body, you are. So that means you are your heart as much as you are your lungs, your spleen, your fingers, and your brain. So how you write, how you move actually generates your cognition, changes your thinking. Typing is a very static activity. It doesn't matter how you do it differently. It always comes up the same way. Whereas handwriting, every swipe, every tool you use, a pencil or pen, everything you're writing on changes how you are thinking, how you are emoting, how you are understanding. So by all means, yeah, when you compare the data on handwriting versus, say, typing, all those ideas of transcribing your notes by hand, trying to recall them from memory, and then rewriting them in new words, all of that leads to incredibly deep understanding and comprehension. And that's exactly what we want.
So why does that happen, that when you handwrite something out as opposed to typing it, you are putting words down, whether it's physically on paper or on a screen yourself? What is the function? Why does that happen?
The speed and the lack of nuance of a keyboard. Because every keyboard is exactly the same, and it doesn't matter how hard or soft you press a button, it comes up exactly the same. Most typing becomes basically thought transcription. I have thought it, I have written it out. But when it comes to handwriting, the slow, deliberate nature of it, and the fact that your body changes as you write, and that, again, remember, you're not your brain, you are your body as much as your brain. We say that handwriting is thinking. You're actually cogitating while you're writing. So your thought process, it's no longer just a matter of transcription. What you are thinking changes as you are writing along. So it very much changes the depth and level with which you write at. And that's when we talk about learning, depth is key.
How are you able to measure that, though, so that you have actual data on it?
Yeah, so this is the fun stuff, is where we now have all those brain imaging tools. So you've probably heard of fMRI and EEG, but we have ways of kind of measuring what are different parts of the brain doing while we're undertaking different activities. And so that's why we can compare very much, what are you doing when you're reading on a screen versus reading the same thing on a book? What are you when you're typing something versus handwriting something? So we can see that different parts of the brain are lighting up, and almost exclusively when you go analog versus digital, more varied parts of the brain light up, specifically those linked with kind of literacy and what we call sensory integration. Anytime you see those parts of the brain light up, you know things are going good. That's a good thing. But then we can also just check straight learning, just like we always have done. Here's a test. What did you learn? Can you write us a 1-paragraph essay on what you just understood from what you learned? And in those instances, we can see the same thing. What you've learned has changed based on the medium you are using.
So assuming that EdTech was introduced almost ubiquitously across U.S. schools over the past couple of decades or 15 years, why did it spread so quickly if I'm assuming we didn't have data proving that it worked?
There's never been data showing that tech has worked or should have worked. And over that 15 years that tech has kind of come in, the data has been very clear that it's been going down. So, I mean, you've just hit on a very big question. Why did we do this? And you can get as cynical as you want at this stage. And believe me, it is easy to do so. But I try and keep the best kind of point of view here. I think we were trying our best. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. These tools sounded good, and they were sold to us as though they were good. Look, this is going to kids have access to more information. How could that be bad? Kids get personalized learning. How could that be bad? So I like to say we went in with the best of intentions, but now it's time to kind of pull that plug and say that was a failed experiment. Are we willing to send another generation of kids through this same problem, or are we willing to kind of step back and go back to what we know works better?
Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath with us on KMOX. So this, I guess you could call it a mission that you are on here to try and curtail some of this ed tech around schools around the country. Are you getting any positive reception from school districts or anything of the sort where they are rethinking how much of this they use in classrooms?
Absolutely. And this has been one of the biggest kind of eye-opener moments was when I first published this book back in December. I was doing it because 3 states had ed tech bills proposed for the docket that year. And so I just wanted to make sure those 3 states had the right data, knew what they were doing. Last count today, 7 months later, 31 states have proposed ed tech bills. And schools around the country are starting to pull back, especially in the younger years from tech. So this moved wickedly fast. And what it just says to me was, I didn't say anything in this book that anyone didn't already know. That this was bubbling right under the surface. I may have just simply put words to it in a way that allowed people to finally act on what they've probably been thinking for years. And believe it or not, though, it sounds like a mission. I am so not anti-tech. To be honest, I don't really care about tech. I am very much just pro-learning. My background is learning sciences. I study how humans learn. And my argument's always been, look, if we're going to take 12 to 18 years of our kids' life and put them in school, we better do right with that time. We better make sure we're doing the best we can for them. And this is just one of those examples where if we're going to try and if learning is the game, there are better ways to do it to make sure our kids get better outcomes. And so my focus has always been just on learning. What's good for learning?
Yeah, this speaks directly to my heart. It's my passion, right? Reading, writing, the love of learning. So saying that, the cynical side of me comes out. And what I'm afraid that the ed tech business that went from a handful of billions of dollars, $6, $7, $8 billion 15 years ago, to now hundreds of billions of dollars globally is not going to be so magnanimous to commit econicide for the sake of the children. Like, I'm afraid that there's too much money in it.
And this is one of the, how sometimes something happens and it's just the perfect confluence of events. I think this is one of those moments because big tech is so caught up in other stuff. They're getting sued for the first time ever. Social media companies are now starting to get sued. So they have to worry about that. AI is starting that bubble is popping, collapsing. You're going to see companies go way down. They're thinking about that. I just think there's so much stuff going around with tech that is taking their attention right now that this is just completely flying under their radar and they're not paying attention to it. So this book has been out for 7 months and everyone keeps asking, how much pushback have you gotten? None. I have not gotten a single email, a single phone call from any tech company. The only group that's been mad at me, there's one group of schools that I said something about them that they didn't like, but that's it. One pushback in 7 months. And as you said, it can't be because they don't have the money or the resources. I just don't think they're paying attention right now. So this might just be that perfect moment to kind of sneak in, get schools to kind of go take that analog step back. And then when big tech kind of gets its breath again, it's going to look down and say, wait, what the heck just happened? Well, sorry, we made a better move.
The book is called The Digital Delusion, How Classroom Technology Harms Our Kids' Learning and How to Help Them Thrive Again. Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath, thank you for talking with us today. Really appreciated the conversation.
No, thank you all. Have a good day.
You too. Dr. Jared Cooney Horvath. Again, The Digital Delusion is the name of the book, and you should give that an opportunity. Yeah. It's Chris and Amy's show. When we come back, we will have Did You See This? At 10 o'clock, Dave Simons. He is our financial expert. The interest rates have not changed. We'll talk to him what that means. That's all coming up on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
The soundtrack of classic rock is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Leonard Skinner and Foreigner joining forces for one epic night of legendary hits and unforgettable memories. It's the Double Trouble Double Vision Tour. From Sweet Home Alabama to Cold as Ice. Don't miss your chance to experience these two Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acts in one incredible show. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Looking for a career change? Well, the Gelman team with eXp Realty is hiring. Their unmatched blueprint to success, real support, and proven systems help agents take their business to the next level. Level up your future and earning potential. Take the first step at thegelmanteam.com.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Summer is waning, sadly, I know, but you've had enough time now to really assess how your outdoor space is working. Is it working for you? You've probably noticed whether the deck is starting to buckle or splinter and needs replacing, or you'd really like a fence to separate you and your neighbor. Whatever it is in your outdoor space, it's never too late to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Now, what does that mean, the sign you have the very best? Well, first of all, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around for 58 years. A third-generation, locally owned family company. They also have an incredible reputation because they only use the best quality materials, and they have their own installation crews, which is very important because they have years of experience. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck is going to stand behind everything they do. When you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll also take 20% off your next outdoor project. So go with the best. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You can visit them in person, or they'll come to you, or visit online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
There's a saying... It takes a group of good men to build a barn, and only one to tear it down. Well, a few Jeff City politicians are at it again, tearing things down with Amendment 5 and Amendment 4. No on 5 and 4. 5 takes our money with higher sales taxes, higher taxes on gas, guns, and groceries, a sales tax hike on rent and diesel, seed and feed. 4 takes away our constitutional right to vote and go around the establishment politicians and to stop higher taxes. Takes away our safety valve, a vote of the people to stop or reverse a dumb idea like the everything tax. I'm a no. A heck no. No. No on Amendment 5. No on Amendment 4. No on both 4 and 5. Paid for by no on the everything tax.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Well, Tom Holland, he's a likable guy.
I like Tom Holland.
And I actually, for someone who doesn't really get into Hollywood or watch movies, I really like Tom Holland and Zendaya. And they're crushing it, absolutely crushing it, because it was the biggest box office weekend in history, with both The Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day generating $430 million over the weekend. Because
they're in both of them.
And it's a Tom Holland, Zendaya, John Bernthal movie, Spider-Man. And the other Tom Holland, Zendaya...
Bernthal's in it too? Is he Punisher?
I don't know. John Bernthal movie, The Odyssey. So they're in that. But Tom Holland now has broken a record because Tom Holland is the only actor in history to star in the top 4 highest grossing global opening weekends ever, with Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man Brand New Day, Avengers Infinity War, and Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
And he's such a unassuming character, an unassuming fellow. He's very likable.
Yeah.
But just kind of, like I said, as Hollywood goes, it's not like he's Johnny Depp or something.
He's cute.
He is cute.
Tom Holland is cute.
But, and he's married to Zendaya. He might be.
He's doing great.
He's doing great.
Hey, did you see John Hamm at the Cardinals-Yankees game last night? I think he was sitting front row.
Was he wearing a scarf?
He was not. He was wearing a black Cardinals cap, if I remember right.
Interesting.
Anyway, hey, did you, speaking of New York, did you see the man who jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge naked the other day?
No.
Yeah. And he survived. The man
quick
survived.
question.
Yes.
Was he trying to survive or not?
I don't know.
Okay.
44-year-old Galmazan Abaldayev, I think. Yeah, hopefully I pronounced it correctly. Probably not. But he affixed multiple flags to the bridge and then jumped into the East River.
Ew.
He was rescued by NYPD. He is alive. He made a 280-foot drop. But he also had some sort of bag that, remember we were talking about, was it you I was talking about this with? How when you were a kid, you used to jump off something with a plastic bag and pretend the bag was a parachute?
Yeah, I was talking about how the kids, it was a rite of passage. The older kids would tell the little kid, hey, you can fly if you jump off with this umbrella.
It looks like he did that. He had a little makeshift parachute, which they believe may have helped soften the blow a little bit. But usually if you jump from 280 feet in the water, you will die. And
it's like
he
hitting
did
concrete.
Not.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was naked.
Naked. Well,
Yeah.
I wonder what hit first. Did he go feet first?
Yeah, he went feet first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was
You
going.
got nothing to say now, huh, dude?
I had something that was relevant to jumping off the... are you more scared? Would you be more scared of the 280-foot drop or more scared of swallowing some of the East River?
Probably the drop.
Yeah. They're both not great.
No. I've been in grosser things, though, I think.
Really?
Yeah, maybe.
There's dead bodies in the East River.
That's fine. That's fine. I used to be in Lake Michigan a lot. We would get E. coli warnings all the time. Like, don't go in the water.
I thought Lake Michigan is safer than the East River.
It's got to be.
It's got to be.
I don't know. When we come back, Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, will join the show. We'll talk economy. The interest rates stay the same. We'll get his thoughts on that when we come back on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Registered lobbyist Mike Deering is not the kind of guy you want in the state Senate.
Did you say he was a registered lobbyist?
Sure did. When conservatives like Tricia Burns tried to pass a bill to take back the 300,000 acres in Missouri allowed to be controlled by China, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against it. When conservatives like Tricia Burns fought alongside Missouri cattlemen to require foreign beef to be labeled, lobbyist Mike Deering testified against that too. While conservatives like Tricia Burns are fighting to protect your farmland from being paved over by data centers, lobbyist Mike Deering described Google's Montgomery County hyperscale data center as a
very positive thing.
Deering also endorsed liberal Democrat Chris Koster for governor and openly mocked President Trump. Registered lobbyist Mike Deering, anti-Trump, pro-Democrat, bought out by foreign ag interest, and in love with data centers. Take down data center Deering on August 4th. Vote America First conservative warrior Tricia Burns for state senate.
Paid for by Mo Constitutional Conservative Council PAC, Scott Lady Treasurer.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 for free and 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my our windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock, and we've got sunshine with a few clouds, 80 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche facing a key committee vote today on his confirmation to the permanent Justice Department post after striking a deal with two outgoing Republican members who demanded he provide written assurances of changes to a sweeping deal settling President Trump's $10 billion IRS lawsuit that includes killing the so-called anti-weaponization fund that would pay Trump political allies, including January 6th rioters. Before the vote, ranking Senate Judiciary Committee member Dick Durbin says Blanche told him he'd made a mistake by creating that fund, but didn't say it during his confirmation hearing.
Mr. Blanche's willingness to casually lie under oath about a statement he made in a room full of witnesses shows the lengths he will go to avoid offending President Trump.
It's primary election day. Polls are open until 7 tonight across Missouri. One of the hotly contested races is for Congressional District 1 here in St. Louis City. Democrat incumbent Wesley Bell facing a challenger and former Congresswoman Cori Bush. Our partners at Fox 2 caught up with some early morning voters.
I just liked his policies better. Cori Bush kind of seems flighty.
I'm going to give Cori a second chance. She probably made a mistake her first time.
KMOX will have election results tonight on our website and social media accounts during the Cardinals-Yankees game. Gateway Regional Medical Center facing financial trouble months after the board resigned due to lack of transparency from their parent company. Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson sat on that board and says they had a hard time getting answers about bills not being paid.
We need to fight to keep it open, but we also have to ensure that they're running it correctly and that the finances are going to the right things.
Parkinson equates the financial troubles to the local steel mill and says the board is still interested in helping the medical center if they're willing to be more transparent about their finances. Suspicion or downright opposition to AI data centers appears to cut across party lines. ABC's Jim Ryan says Democrat-dominated New York State was the first to impose a moratorium on the data centers.
Now deep red Texas has done the same. Governor Greg Abbott, once an ardent supporter of data centers, has shut the door on new ones until the state can audit their potential impact on public water and power supplies. More than 330 data centers are up and running in Texas, with another 250 on the drawing board.
It's only August 4th, but you can make some holiday plans. Tickets are now officially on sale for the Polar Express train ride at St. Louis Union Station that begins on November 30th. You can purchase holiday saver tickets all the way up to the premium dome car. There's also a breakfast with Santa option. The weather sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies.
Mostly sunny and nice with a high near 90 this afternoon, then mainly clear, low 71 tonight. Clouds and sun, high near 90 for tomorrow again. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's 80 degrees with sunshine in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
You know you're getting older when your back goes out more than you do. I've been helping families prepare for retirement for over 38 years. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturdays at 7 a.m. Or visit checkwithgary.com and let's help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Every Tuesday, we talk to Dave Simons. He is the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth here in the St. Louis area. As we like to talk about the economy with him and your personal finances. We get into that a little bit. And if you don't have enough money, Dave will be happy to give you some. So Dave is with us on KMOX. How's it going, Dave?
It's going well, Chris. How are you, Amy?
I'm doing pretty well. Always excited to talk to you.
Yeah, great to be here as always.
So I think you pretty much predicted this, that the interest rates would probably not go anywhere. They would stay the same, despite the fact the president would like to see them lower. Yeah. So, what do you think now, and what will this mean?
Kevin Warsh, the new Fed chairman, was a little surprising that he was taken to task by a lot of people for not raising rates and now being a lackey for President Trump. And the three of us have talked quite a bit about that since Warsh took over. Would he be an independent-minded guy, or would he do the president's bidding? And I've said right from the beginning, it looked like Warsh would be the independent guy. And I still believe that. Why people started to question that from the meeting last week where they voted not to raise rates is because in the news conference right after the announcement, Warsh talked so tough about bringing inflation back down to 2%. I mean, he was adamant about it, very hawkish language. And so people were scratching their heads saying, well, if you're talking this tough, then why didn't you raise interest rates? That's one way to get inflation down. There seemed to be this disconnect, I guess, if you will. Well, I don't quite see it that way. I think Warsh was basically hinting to the market, hey, I didn't want to be so dramatic here and just start raising rates right away. What I'm doing is giving you guys time to sort of sort through this and know that at our next meeting in September, we very well might raise rates. And the other thing on that, too, is the vote was 9-3 in favor of keeping rates right where they are. So it's not like Warsh was in the minority here. If he was, then I think maybe some of this criticism would have some validity to it. But 8 others, he's one of the 12 voting members, 8 others said, yeah, I also don't think we need to raise rates. So very interesting, the criticism, but I continue to believe, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, that Warsh is going to be a very independent guy. But bottom line, I do believe that they are probably going to raise rates at least once or twice by the end of the year.
Do you think, and not to make it political, but since the president has made it political with the appointment of Kevin Warsh, that maybe Warsh was taking a Trumpian approach to speaking a big game, but then his actions say differently?
Well, I think that's fair. And to your point, Amy, that's exactly when I was talking to some of my colleagues to say, if I'll give the critics any of their due here, I can see that maybe that was in Warsh's thinking, to say, as long as I can talk tough publicly, but privately, if I have any conversations with the president saying, hey, you know what, we're just going to lay low here for a while. But the September meeting, I think, is going to tell us everything we need to know. I don't think we're going to have to guess anymore. If Warsh continues to say we don't have to raise rates, and let's say the 9-3 becomes more like, I don't know, 7-5, and then you might start to have some credible people saying, I think he maybe is not as independent as we would like to have seen. So I think we'll have more answers after mid-September.
We were seeing a little bit in the stock market, a correction when it came to these tech stocks, because they were driving everything for quite some time. Are we at a point now where that correction is over? What sort of period do you think we're in?
Yeah, I wouldn't blame investors for looking at this huge rally here and say, what correction? I mean, the Dow is up over 800 points today after rallying big time last Friday and yesterday. The Dow is back to an all-time high. The S&P 500 today, all-time high. Now, the NASDAQ, which is a more tech-heavy AI-related index, still is below its high. It had such a big correction. So I know a lot of investors, it really depends on where you are. If you are heavily invested in some of these high-flying AI stocks, especially the chips or semiconductor companies, you're still well below your high. But for the rest of investors, July actually wasn't that bad. The S&P 500 was only down 0.1%. And it's weird because it doesn't feel like it. When we look back to July and say, whoa, man, things got hit really hard. Basically, the market was flat. It was the NASDAQ and it was the chip stocks that got hit really hard. And we've talked about this. I welcomed it. That needed to happen. And so is it over? Good question. I think we need to see another week or two of this, but perhaps the worst of the correction that we saw this summer in those aforementioned high-flying AI companies might be a little over. I will say this, though. I think the rebound is a little much. I think there's been so much pent-up fear out there that as soon as the big boys and girls, the big institutions have started to buy since late last week, I think the retail mom and pops are saying, okay, I guess we can come out of hibernation. The coast is clear. Now maybe I can start buying again. And don't reach for too much risk at this point. I'm not so sure that the coast is completely clear.
So speaking of these AI stocks and these AI companies, what is the deal with this doofus who's like, I think he's 24. His name's Leopold Aschenbrenner.
I thought you were talking about me for a second. Thank you.
No, I said 24 years old, Dave.
Oh, okay.
He's 24. Leopold Aschenbrenner. He used to be with OpenAI. So what did he do?
You know, I can just picture him in college. He went to Columbia University. You know, the kind of guy who sits in your class and is almost bored because college is too easy.
Yeah.
And you kind of have this internal rage. You feel bad about it. You're like, I don't like this guy because he's too freaking smart. And that's Leopold Aschenbrenner. He's one of those kind of guys where, as soon as he leaves college, he actually worked for Sam Bankman-Fried at the crypto from FX there for that's exactly right. And then quickly jumped to OpenAI and then left. But yes, Chris, you're exactly right. When he left there, he wrote this like 160-page paper called Situational Awareness, and it was all about the decade ahead for AI. That went viral within the AI crowd, especially to older people who lived through the internet growth as well. And they were saying, who is this kid? He gets it, man. And they said, we'll give you money if you want to invest it for us because you know the players here. I can't believe you're only in your early 20s. So he took, I don't know, maybe $100 million. And at one point this year, his hedge fund was $45 billion. And most of that was all growth. Now, here's the problem. This is the hubris that a lot of young people show when things come so easy for them. There was no correction in these AI stocks. His mistake is he had no risk parameters put in. He has no experience in that. He's not a veteran of this. He would actually buy on margin 3 and 4 times. So with $1, he could buy another $3 or $4 extra. That is a disaster if you don't have certain hedges in place. So we were talking about the big correction that we had this summer in those stocks. He started getting margin calls. People started to pull their money. And what happened is big old Ken Griffin of Citadel, the largest hedge fund in the world, came in. And that's why those veterans, man, these cagey guys, they'll take these young pups down every time. And they came in and bought at pennies on the dollar a lot of these stocks to save Leopold. I will say this, though. You will hear this guy's name again. I don't say all of this to poke fun at him or make fun and say, I'm glad. He seems like a nice enough guy. And I think this will be a learning experience. And I think he'll be back.
Two things. Ken Griffin, by the way, a couple of days ago, he's the reason that Mauricio Pochettino is going to stay as the men's national team coach because he footed the money for it. That's number one. And number two, this guy that we're talking about, and you mentioned he went to Columbia. He graduated Columbia at 19 and was the valedictorian.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the Nostradamus of AI.
Yes.
That's what they call him.
And that's why he would not have been my friend, only because of envy and because he was too smart for me. I wouldn't have been able to connect with him.
I think you're brilliant.
And like you said, even though he lost billions and billions of dollars, I guess he's still managing the $10 billion hedge fund.
He still has billions
so
of billions.
He can build up from there. But it all happened right before his wedding, too.
How about that? He was getting calls at his wedding. He was being texted, hey, dude, we're in trouble.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, imagine that.
Well, Dave, then, we look at that story. We look at AI. There was another story that I don't know if you saw this yet, but 2 of the biggest pharma companies were talking about merging. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So, but I know Wall Street wasn't necessarily impressed with that merger. What were the 2 pharma companies, and do you think it's going to happen?
Well, I'll talk in even a bigger picture than that, because so much of this is related to AI, even though it doesn't seem like it. Because AI now is infiltrating every industry, and companies that have been late in adopting this new technology are slow. You know, you guys have seen like the Tour de France and the cycling and all that, and the Peloton. These guys are going so fast in the Peloton that if you get dropped and you have a flat tire or whatever, you can't catch them up. You can't catch up, even as good as you are individually, because the Peloton as a group is going so fast. That's what AI is doing in the economic world right now. If you all of a sudden get dropped for even a second, you don't catch up. So we are now seeing these mergers and acquisitions being discussed not only in healthcare, but in banking, in finance. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in industrial companies, boring old industrial companies. You have companies like a Deere and a Caterpillar. They're looking at buying up maybe some other companies as well. This is amazing. And this is where the bullish side of me comes down on what's happening with AI. Yes, there are plenty of things we need to be concerned about, but this is economically transformational more than the internet. This is huge. Investors need to be aware of this for all the good things. I would not get caught too much in the rapid declines and ascents that we see in these stock prices, because the volatility is going to be there. But if you have a long-term time horizon, there are some real wealth creating companies that are just dotted all over the stock market right now. Be a part of that, folks. If I was younger again, oh my gosh, I'd be licking my chops right now. If I was in my 20s and 30s and knew that I had 40 years, I mean, this is going to be an amazing time in the economy, but very volatile at the same time.
And I'll just note that, it was AstraZeneca and Bristol Myers Squibb that, if that merger would go through, valued at $400 billion.
And this is where we get the feds in. Do they approve this kind of stuff? And there's going to be a lot of that going on. I haven't seen the particulars. I just saw the headlines on that this morning. So I don't know what the chances of it are to actually be passed or not. But you're going to hear a lot more about this in virtually every industry, and it's AI related.
Dave Simons, we love talking to you on Tuesdays, which means you have to come back next week.
I think I will. And I love talking to you guys.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Dave's the best. Thanks, Dave.
All right. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great week.
Dave Simons, he is the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, with us every Tuesday. Usually we try to do it at 10 o'clock on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Hey, speaking of the men's national team, which I brought up, and yes, Ken Griffin, the billionaire, is the reason that the men's national team gets to keep Mauricio Pochettino. Well, they are coming back to Energizer Park, the men's national team, September 29th. They are going to play a game at Energizer Park. The team just announced it. That will be very cool. It's against Chile, and it'll be at 7 o'clock. Pretty cool stuff.
That'll be fun.
Yep.
That'll be good.
Oh, but real quick, before we get to break here, Amy, when we come back, I hate to say it, but I kind of like Pete Crow Armstrong.
The villain?
The villain. He plays for the Cubs, and he did another thing that this guy is really something.
All right.
And we'll tell you what it is when we come back.
In the meantime, especially if you're hanging out in your backyard, you're enjoying the last month or so of summer, you really need to call Rottler to make sure that you, your family, your friends, your pets aren't eaten alive by pesky mosquitoes, or some would say even worse, ticks. So Rottler is the largest family-owned pest control company in the state. They've been in business for 70 years, and they really are known for their deep community roots and their responsive service and long-term customer relationships. I know you guys have heard Charlie Brennan talk about Rottler for years, and what they can do is they can make a program designed for your home and your needs, whether you're trying to get rid of mosquitoes in the backyard or ticks. Maybe You also have moles, and they're digging tunnels and really ruining all the hard work that you've put into your yard and landscaping. Rottler has great guaranteed programs that also come with the Rottler promise that if the job's not done, they'll come back and make sure that the ants or the moles or the mosquitoes are gone. Also, that first inspection is free. So give them a call. A real person will answer the phone. Rottler.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Built on a century. Focused on today. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
Cardinals are playing a series in New York, and man, they had a really nice comeback win. They were winning by a lot, and they coughed it up. They were up 6-0. They lost the lead. They were down 7-6. But then Nathan Church with a home run put them on top. Alec Burleson, another home run, put it away, and they won the beginning of that series. So good deal for the Cardinals. They're back at it tonight. We have a pregame at 5:10 and a first pitch at 6:05. Regarding the Yankees, however, there is who is considered or has been for a very long time considered the best player to ever live in Babe Ruth. Some people would argue.
Babe Ruth?
Yeah. Some people would argue that Barry Bonds was better. Some people are arguing now that Shohei Ohtani is actually better than Babe Ruth. It's difficult to compare, but, you know, the Babe is the Babe. Everybody knows who that is. If you're a baseball fan, even if you're not, everybody knows who Babe Ruth is. He's a literal household name.
The Sultan of SWAT.
Well, Pete Crow Armstrong, who is an MVP candidate this year and plays for the Cubs, and I think Cardinals fans know him well, and they love to give him a hard time, which they should, because that's what you do with the rival teams and the best players on the rival teams. Well, Pete Crow Armstrong has a different opinion of Babe Ruth. He thinks he doesn't exist or never existed.
He's a Ruth truther?
He's a Ruth truther. He's a Ruther, and he appeared on the Kristen Cavallari podcast called The Actress. Let's Be Honest with Kristen Cavallari. And here is what Pete Crow Armstrong said.
I love it. Babe Ruth never existed is one that I like.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Really? He never existed.
I heard some pitcher with the Mariners, what's his name? Salcedo? You remember him?
Salcedo, yeah, lefty.
I think he did some podcast on Zoom when he was like going down the rabbit hole with somebody about how Babe Ruth never existed. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like,
wow. So you're going to double down right now?
Well, it's like we always talk about how like the game's evolving and like people might as well have been like underhanding the ball to that guy, and he's regarded still as one of the best players ever, and you might as well dive further into it and be like, well, maybe he just never existed.
I love it. I love it.
That's crazy.
That's a good one.
That's a good moon landing picture. Like,
yeah.
Are those pictures real?
Yeah, the moon landing.
I don't really want to get into this.
All right. So PCA.
I think he's just appreciating.
So the question was, what's an unpopular opinion you have? And so he said Babe Ruth never existed, which is very funny. And the guy he's talking about is Tyler Saucedo, who, is a pitcher for the Mariners. And he was on his own little podcast and was talking about that he didn't think the Babe existed and that Ted Williams never hit a 500-foot home run because he's like, we went out to Fenway Park where that seat's supposed to be, and there's no way he would have hit that ball. And I think it's very funny because if you remember, the Cardinals had a reliever named Adam Ottavino, and he went to, did he go to New York? I think he did. I think he was on the Yankees after, and he made a comment that if he pitched against Babe Ruth, that he would strike him out every time. Which, maybe because Babe Ruth never saw the kind of pitches that are getting thrown today. So I guess that's possible. I just think it is very funny.
Yeah.
That this dude's unpopular opinion is Babe Ruth never existed. I
think everybody needs an unpopular opinion like that. You got to have one just to spice it up.
So, that's a crazy one. So the Mariners,
and he's a baseball player.
The Mariners reliever who started it said that there's only one video of the guy. It's the same video of him running and all those photos.
That is a great point. That is a great, incredible point.
That's not true. There are all kinds of videos of him. There's all kinds of footage of. Yeah, there are videos of. There's not much of him actually playing, but there's a decent amount of him. Before a game, after the game, talking. On camera. On the field. Shaking hands with people.
Doesn't prove he actually existed as the greatest player.
But that footage was around before artificial intelligence.
I have a friend who is a cardiologist, and he has never proven to us that he's a cardiologist. And so how do we know he's a cardiologist? And he sent us a picture of himself in scrubs at a hospital to prove he was a cardiologist. Well, guess what? I was able to go to a hospital and wear scrubs, and I took a picture and held some instruments. Am I a cardiologist? Maybe Babe Ruth never existed, and maybe my friend's not a cardiologist.
There was that show, Dr. Death, about the guy who had completely gaslit this woman, and it's a real story.
You always know these stories.
He found this woman. She was in her 40s, and he started a relationship with her. She was wealthy. And he took a lot of her money, and he convinced her he was a surgeon, and he proved it by always showing up to wherever they went in scrubs.
Right? See, it proves nothing.
And then after a while, she got wise, and she's like, come to think of it, those scrubs were always tattered. And then her daughter killed him. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. Sorry to spoil that one
So
for
anyway,
you.
so in short, both PCA and Ranj believe that Babe Ruth never existed.
I didn't say that. That's
You
PCA.
100% said that.
I am arguing in favor of Babe Ruth's existence. I've seen the movie with John Goodman. So the Cardinals and Brewers worked out a deal. How good of a deal is it for the Cardinals? Sounds pretty good, but we'll see what Vinny Rotino thinks. He is Brewers analyst for FanDuel Sports Wisconsin, and he's next on KMOX.
All Access with Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
When things aren't going well, I feel like there is a responsibility to answer to it. Even the kid that apologized for yelling, "Let's go, wake up." His seats were the first seats right behind the dugout. You paid good money for those. You get the yell. So if you have an opinion, if you have questions, I'd rather take the time, especially when things aren't going the way our fan base would like, just answer those.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Beautiful day, partly sunny, 81 degrees. It's less humid today. Hazy sunshine, a high of 90. Tonight, clear skies, a low of 66.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Giddy up! Cardinal Cowboy here. Summer heat can put your garage door to the test. Stay ahead of the game with a Renner Garage Door Summer Tune-Up. Plus, score a free repair or replacement quote and $100 off a new garage door. Forward and back.
RENNER. When was the last time you watched your home movies?
Disasters strike unexpectedly. Every year, American families lose the one thing they'd run back into a burning building for, their family's memories. Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Adam. We started Legacy Box to help save your family's most important recorded moments so you don't have to worry.
Load Legacy Box with your old movies, film reels, and shoeboxes of photos.
We work our digitizing magic, converting those memories right to the cloud so they're safe and accessible forever.
It's fast, we always send your originals back, and it's done right here in the USA.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box. Better Homes and Garden, Real Simple, and Inc. magazine are all talking about Legacy Box.
New York Times columnist David Pogue says, have them digitized. I wish I'd done it sooner. Take action. Save your family's memories today with Legacy Box.
Go to legacybox.com/value to get an incredible 50% off your Legacy Box. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off while supplies last. LegacyBox.com/value.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today.
Dial 877-WEBNOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
As he waits for the next pitch, swing and a miss, and down on strikes, he finally goes for the first out of the inning. And for Dustin May, that's 6 strikeouts.
Cardinals were active yesterday ahead of the trade deadline at 5 o'clock, and one of the guys who is gone is Dustin May, and so is JoJo Romero. Both of them are off to the Milwaukee Brewers, the Cardinals getting a couple of prospects in return. And to talk about that and more, what happened at the deadline, we now go to the Quiver River Electric guest line today. Vinny Rotino, Milwaukee Brewers analyst for FanDuel Sports Wisconsin, also formerly played for the Brewers, is with us on KMOX. How's it going, Vinny?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
So let's talk about, first of all, what the Brewers did at the deadline. And I know that leading into yesterday, for the couple of days we knew about the Tarek Skubal thing going to the Dodgers, I personally know quite a few Brewers fans, and they were not happy that the Brewers didn't put a better effort to get somebody like that. How do you see that whole situation?
Well, I know that, we had Matt Arnold, the general manager, the president of baseball operations, on the broadcast last night. We had him on in the second or third inning, and he admitted to saying, and this is what he is so committed to doing, is being super responsible about the future. He admitted that he was irresponsible about the future and sustaining a winner in terms of the prospect package that he put together. And for some reason, whatever reason that is, and we don't know, obviously, that the Detroit Tigers selected the Dodgers package over the Brewers package. Now, we will never know what that package is, and I'm very well connected within the scouting community. I used to scout after I got done playing. I was a pro scout for the Texas Rangers for 4 years. I know, obviously, a lot of people in the game, just being an analyst now for the team. I played for a long time. I will never get this information. I'm very no one will ever tell me, and I would maybe give part of my left pinky for this information, just because I'm so fascinated to know why the Detroit Tigers picked Zaire Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith over whatever package that the Brewers put together. Because knowing what they gave up to get Dustin May and JoJo Romero, that was a nice package for the St. Louis Cardinals. I know we'll probably get into that, but so they went obviously above and beyond that package for Skubal, and for some reason they came up short.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people saw what the Dodgers gave and thought, with the depth that the Brewers have in their system, certainly they should have or could have at least matched that because of the depth of the Brewers system. And to the point of being future looking, a championship window is so small and so rare that when you get it, isn't it understood that you sacrifice a little bit of your future to try to get your team over the finish line?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know that they put their best package forward, with the exception of giving up. You're not going to give up Jesus Medei for 3 months, two months for sure, and obviously, hopefully 3 months of Tarek Skubal. Jesus Medei is the number one prospect in baseball. The number one prospects in baseball have such a long track record of becoming not only all-stars, but superstar-type players. I mean, we're looking at Jackson Chourio, who's not swinging the bat well now. He is only 22 years old, first player, I think, ever to go 20-20 before his age 21 season in terms of 20 stolen bases, 20 home runs. And so Junior Caminero was a number one prospect. He's going to get MVP votes for the Tampa Bay Rays this year. I mean, you go down the long list of the number one prospect. You don't just trade those guys away. However, yes, you would have thought that the Brewers would have been able to get over the finish line. I will say this, the Dodgers, Chaim Bloom, with the St. Louis Cardinals, is doing a great job of a rebuild. It will not be long until the St. Louis Cardinals are good again and are going to compete for the NL Central again because of the process that he is putting forth. And it's basically the same playbook as Matt Arnold and what he has put forth. Now, Matt Arnold and what he's doing, he's accumulating all these prospects, the lifeline, the lifeblood of the organization, because they're going to be good for a really long time. Jackson Chourio signed an 8-year contract extension, cheap. Luis Lara signed a contract extension, Cooper Pratt. So all these young guys, are coming, and they're going to make an impact for this big league roster, and they're young, and it is going to be sustainable. I will say this about other big market teams, including the Dodgers. Those contracts are going to look bad pretty soon. The Freddie Freemans, the Mookie Betts. Now, I'm not saying that those guys aren't going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. They probably most certainly will. But it's these contracts that other big market teams they're going to start regretting, and they're going to try to replenish with their system, but they're going to continue to flip these guys for these championship runs. And I get it. It's just a difference in philosophy. Do I wish that the Brewers would have gotten Tarik Skubal? 100%. The Brewers haven't been in the World Series until they got beat by your St. Louis Cardinals in 1982. And so all of us around here are just hoping and praying that they can make a run back to the World Series and win one. One of 5 teams that haven't won one yet. So, it's such a double-edged sword, because you do want to see, and you almost see out into the future that this is sustainable, and eventually they are, because of all this young talent. And I heard the Biloxi AA team for the Milwaukee Brewers is the best offensive group that some scouts have ever seen. Now, that's saying something. Scouts just don't say stuff like that. And so you want to protect those guys, because those guys are going to be your next all-stars for the Milwaukee Brewers.
So let's talk about the 2 prospects the Cardinals got from Milwaukee, both outfielders, Alexander Frias and Josiah Ragsdale. Both of them, again, are in A-ball and AA. Right?
AA for Ragsdale, yep.
Yeah, so I mean, these are, AA is a pretty good level, but we're talking about lower level at this point. And what do you think they're both going to be? What's the projection on each of them?
Well, I've heard that Frias, and I have never seen this kid play, he's just 18 years old, and he was on the verge of getting into the top 100, and he was already a top 50 prospect for Fangraphs. You look at some of these publications that rank prospects, Frias was already a top 50 prospect for Fangraphs. Now, he was on the verge of entering into MLB Pipeline's top 100, which once you're a top 100 prospect, that is saying something. I mean, those guys just don't grow on trees, right? So, that might have been an overreach. These public publication or public rankings of all these prospects, they really don't mean a whole lot. I mean, it obviously is the internal rankings of what each system has. And I would guess that the Brewers didn't have him that high. Otherwise, he would have been coveted, just like the other top 100 prospects that they have within their organization. So, but he has a ton of upside. This kid has been hitting home runs at just 18 years old. He's got a 6'2", 177-pound frame. He's going to add weight to that frame. He is athletic. He can play center field. He's been hitting home runs in low A ball. He's in Wilson right now. And he's got 4 home runs, but he has been on a tear as of late. So, but to be at that level at age 18, he's coming from the Dominican Summer League. He tore the cover off the ball in that league, so they said, okay, let's try him stateside and see what he can do in the low A level. And so that is a prospect that the Brewers, were willing to part with, but at the same time, it goes to show how much they needed pitching to help get the Brewers to the finish line here, with 4 starting pitchers as rookies in their rotation currently. And then they're performing exceptionally well, but Dustin May is going to be a guy that's going to help him with that. And then Josiah Ragsdale, he's kind of come out of not nowhere. He's a 7th-round draft pick, and he's a very speedy center fielder, defensive-minded guy, but also started to tap into that power a little bit once he got to that AA level. So a couple of prospects going back to the Cardinals that are probably going to be very useful, at least role player type big leaguers. Like, if you get any big leaguer in a deal, you're happy with the deal, right? But the fact that these guys are going to be on their roster, this is the projections now, on the Cardinals roster, at least everyday, not everyday guys, but their floor is like a role player. But both of these guys have the upside of being everyday, if not better, type of profile. So I would imagine that the St. Louis Cardinals are very happy with this deal.
Well, and the fact that this deal took place within the division, a little bit less of a big deal for St. Louis, because you gave up 2 guys who are going to be free agents anyway. We're in a different stage right now than the Brewers are, so it's not like Dustin May is going to come back to beat us. Also, the Cardinals haven't beaten the Brewers this year. Anyway, really, they're struggling to beat the Brewers. But on the Brewers side, given everything that you said about those two prospects, was there any grumbling in Milwaukee about these two future players that could be facing the Brewers on the Cardinals in the future?
I think the fan base, I just think the fan base, and even it feels like a little bit like the clubhouse and the coaching staff and stuff like this. Nothing like publicly that they've said, but just the feeling that you get around the team and again around the fan base is that they were not happy that they did not get Tarek Skubal. Okay, but they tried, but they just weren't happy. Just disappointed in how that whole process played out. And so I think not just anything. I mean, Dustin May took a no-hitter against the Brewers into the 8th inning, and then a couple of starts later, he pitched a one-hitter. Was it a complete game? Was it not, or close to it? So, I mean, the guy can really do some things when he is commanding the baseball, and the Brewers have seen that firsthand. He's got great stuff. And so I think just, again, not the fact that they were happy to get any deal done. I think this is a deal that is really going to help. And once Dustin May gets around the team and the team gets around him, from everything I've heard in terms of how great of a teammate he is and competitor he is, that he is going to fit in nicely with this Milwaukee Brewers team. That's the one thing that they do have going for them, I think, as an advantage over every other club in the league, is the fact that they have such great winning culture in that clubhouse that you do kind of get the best out of guys when you come to Milwaukee. They just have, and Pat Murphy's proven it, that he's been able to get the best out of his players. And so I think you're probably going to see the best version of Dustin May here. But they needed the help, they needed the innings, and they needed the starts. And then also Jojo Romero is never shied away from pitching in big spots, and they're going to need his left arm down in that bullpen as well.
Yeah, especially if a series against the Dodgers happens in the postseason, that could end up being big. We're talking to Vinny Rotino, Brewers analyst on FanDuel Sports Wisconsin. Okay, so last thing for you, with the Skubal thing happening and them ending up with the Dodgers, as you are well aware over the last several days, there have been a lot of people who have just said, here we go, the rich getting richer. And there needs to be something that baseball's got to do something about this disparity, that the Dodgers have all these resources and no other team can compete. Is this evidence of that for you, or were you already there? Do you disagree? How do you see all of that as we get close to a lockout?
I think, I'm going to mass every day and lighting vigil candles, hoping there's no lockout. I mean, that's a little bit of hyperbole, but it's just like, come on. There's other ways to fix the competitive balance. There just is. You give the small market teams, including the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers, more draft picks at the front of the draft. You give them more international signing money. There's other ways to fix this. I would say I would push back on that narrative some, because you see the New York Mets are one of the worst teams in all of baseball. You see the Los Angeles Angels with a high payroll. They are the worst team in all of baseball. I mean, you see some of these teams really struggling, not able to figure things out. The Brewers and the Cardinals, types of franchises that do things the right way, and their front office runs things the right way and are responsible with their prospects and really do look towards the future and having a sustainable winner. You can win with this system. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. My fear, guys, is that there is a lockout and they miss games, and then fans just get really disgruntled and don't come back. Or it takes a very long time, and we work in this game, right? So there's a lot of people that do rely on this game of baseball that are hoping for it not to get shut down and miss games. It would be devastating, I think, for a lot of people and for the game. I really do. I just think there's other ways to fix this competitive imbalance. It is not fair. You can do more revenue sharings, though. So I totally understand that it's not fair. I just think that the players and the owners just simply – the players certainly don't trust the owners. If there is going to be some sort of cap, that they would defer money, or just I don't know. It's so complicated that I just don't want to see it happen. I hope they go a different route. I hope that they can figure this out before they miss games. Similar to 2021, right before spring training, they figured out a deal, and then they ended up playing all 162. It was a later start to the season, but they played all 162. I hope something like that happens. I don't know. What do your guys feel on this? This is a tough one.
I don't know. I mean, part of me is hoping that the lockout happens in December, and both sides get wise here and figure it out, and maybe they miss a couple of weeks or miss a month or something like that. But the longer this goes on, both sides seem very adamant that they're not going to move from their position. So I agree. I have no idea.
And if they do have a lockout, we don't have steroids to help us get
we need
the
roids
people back. I mean, the steroid era really helped us.
Yeah.
Should make T-shirts, bring roids back to baseball. Yeah.
Vinny, we love the conversation, man. Thank you for being with us again.
Anytime. It was fun.
Vinny Rotino, Milwaukee Brewers analyst for Brewers TV, joining us here on KMOX, and some good things to say about the two prospects the Cardinals got in return in the trade yesterday. Alexander Frias and Josiah Ragsdale, both outfielders. So we'll see. It'll be some time before they make it to the big leagues, if at all. So we have to be patient, but he does like what Heimblum is doing.
Speaking of returns, there was a big return in Southeast Missouri.
Oh.
That we'll have to get to.
Well, I can't wait to hear about this. Chris and Amy on KMOX. And I got to tell you that FanDuel right now is cooking. I've been telling you about FanDuel for, almost a year.
Forever.
Yeah. It's been almost a year because it was last December, I think, right? That everything was legalized and ready to go. And because it is Tuesday, FanDuel wants you to know that you can really cash in on Tuesdays with Dinger Tuesdays. Customers choose their own reward every Tuesday to use on home run bets. So how are you going to play your game? You got two options. You got the bet reset. So you can use this on your wager and you'll get refunded in bonus bets if your bet loses. Or your second option is a 50% profit boost. You make your bet, activate the profit boost, and if it hits, that's extra winnings at no extra cost. So why wouldn't you do it right now? If you're thinking of, dipping your toe in a little bit, make your choice, and the reward will be ready to use on your next home run bet. All you have to do is go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to choose your reward for home run bets every Dinger Tuesday. Last night was Dinger Monday in New York. Cardinals and Yankees combined for 10 home runs. That was an amazing night, and Alec Burleson hit 3 all by himself. Play ball with the home for home runs on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Join Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement, every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX. And get more, including the Kickin' with the Rickens podcast, when you visit RickenFinancial.com. And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This summer, local events are happening all over the place, and I3 Broadband is a big part of it. At I3, we love being part of the neighborhood and are proud to support the events that make our communities great. We're also proud to deliver 100% fiber-to-home internet, recognized as Greater St. Louis's next-door neighborhood fave. We give you lightning-fast speeds and reliable performance. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and I3 Broadband is here for you.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/radio. That's legacybox.com/radio.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. So I'm telling you guys all the time, if you have a complicated medical issue, hire the best doctor you can. If a complicated legal issue, hire the best lawyer you can. Stewie, same thing goes for a mortgage.
You know what, Dave? That's so important. And most people today, they go on a computer and they say, okay, I'm shopping for a mortgage. I'll get some rocket ship mortgage or something else, and that's what I'll do. Wrong. Your home is the biggest investment you're going to make in your life. Don't be foolish. When you're making a major decision like this, you want to have an expert, and you want that expert to be available when it's convenient for you. We give out our personal cell phone number. You can call us nights, weekends. Text us when you're available. This is called accessibility to the biggest and best expert. That's us. You can get the right advice and the right product when you connect.
Call Stuart on his cell phone, 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS 226715.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I have wonderful news.
Tell me.
Rufus the kangaroo, after having been missing for a week, has been returned home. A neighbor
to Australia, where he belongs.
No, to Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Where he belongs. His home in Bloomfield, Missouri. He escaped an enclosure at his home because they think the husband scared him accidentally by operating an excavator. Remember how excavators came up in all of our stories last week? Well, anyway.
Yeah.
But so I think he hopped out. I don't know. He jumped away. But
So he's back at home?
He's back home. What I like is when they had the lost Rufus pictures, that they did have pictures. But, I mean, who's going to see a kangaroo and go, is that Rufus?
No, that's not him.
I don't know if that's Rufus or not.
Speaking of excavators, took a look at the dirt pile, the giant pile of dirt in Soulard. I feel like they're moving a little slow on this. It's getting smaller, but it's not getting that small enough for my liking.
Do you think it was performative removal
I
just
think
to get us off their backs?
That's exactly what I think it is. I'm going to drive by today and see if that guy's in the excavator on his phone again.
Address him.
I don't know if I do.
Accost him, sir.
It is election day here in Missouri, and there's a lot of discussion about the Democratic Party and socialism and so on and so forth. And Blake Ashby is a Ferguson-based Democratic leader. He's got a book out. We're going to talk to him about that very thing when we come back on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Homeowners, I know a lot of you are worried about one thing when it comes to selling, and that's leaving money on the table. Hey, this is Kevin Wheeler. I'm here with Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. So, Gloria, how do you help sellers make sure that they get top dollar?
The reality is, most homes don't sell for what they should. I see it happen all the time. They either price it wrong or they don't create enough demand. But with over 2,400 buyers in my Buyers in Waiting database and my exclusive pricing strategy, I'm able to offer my seller a 100% market value guarantee. And if I can't get you 100% of your home's market value, I'll pay you the difference. So you don't have to wonder if you left money on the table. You can sell with confidence, knowing you maximize your sale.
Make sure you get every dollar for your home. That's why you call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Universal Windows Direct. So time is flying by. Before long, it's going to be fall and we'll be switching from air conditioners to our heaters. Just know that you can save a lot of money 12 months out of the year by replacing your windows with our great windows. Here's the DGS deal. Buy 4 windows, get 4 for free, and 48 months, 0% interest financing, same as cash. Great company, great people. 314-334-2522, universalwindowsdirect.com.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
It is 11 o'clock and we have sunshine with some clouds, 82 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. St. Louis City Police responding to a South City shooting involving a St. Louis City Sheriff's deputy. In a social media post, the police department saying the shooting happened in the area of Merrimack and Dewey. No law enforcement officers were injured. We do have a reporter en route to the scene. Voters have until 7 tonight to cast ballots in the Missouri primary. Rudy Keller, deputy editor of the Missouri Independent, has his eye on several state Senate races, including the 4th District in our region. Steve Butts and Gina Mitten are vying for the Democratic nomination.
Steve Butts is one of the few anti-abortion Democrats. That is becoming a big issue in that race. And should he win, it might send a message to Democrats to tone down some of the rhetoric on that issue if it means a broader appeal.
The KMOX newsroom will have election results on our website and social media during tonight's Cardinals-Yankees baseball broadcast. A Senate committee is expected to vote today to advance acting Attorney General Todd Blanche's nomination to lead the Justice Department. Illinois Democrat Dick Durbin telling the head of the Judiciary Committee he will not be voting in favor.
Mr. Chairman, the political escapade of the last week has made it clearer than ever that Todd Blanche has no business serving as our nation's chief law enforcement officer.
GOP Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis now say they will support Blanche. Late yesterday, U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro was seen leaving the White House after a meeting with President Trump, who continues to insist vandals damage the reflecting pool and says Pirro folded like an umbrella. Here's ABC News White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
Pirro saying had the Interior Department been forthcoming with the information clearly in its possession, the government would not have sought a grand jury indictment. The filing directly contradicting Trump's claims of vandalism. Pirro claiming her prosecutors were misled by the Interior Department, which awarded no-bid contracts worth nearly $15 million, despite having virtually no federal experience doing federal contracts. All 4 prosecutions claiming vandalism have now been dropped.
For years, it was mocked, even nicknamed the Gateway to Nowhere. Now, Mid-America's St. Louis Airport in Mascoutah is reaching new highs with a 26% jump in boardings last year compared to the year before. St. Clair County once estimated the terminal could serve more than 1 million passengers a year. That has not happened, but By 2019, boardings hit almost 153,000. Last year, it was 192,000, and 2026 numbers are already higher than this time last year, according to the Post-Dispatch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
This afternoon will be mostly sunny with a high near 90, then mainly clear, low 71 tonight. Clouds and sun, high 90 tomorrow, then a thunderstorm on Thursday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now sunny and 83 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Duke's Real Mayo.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about award-winning chefs, yes, chef, and why they choose Duke's Mayo. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you on a Tuesday morning, and a fitting conversation to have today about the future of the Democratic Party, as a lot of you might be driving to or from the polls, as it is primary day here in St. Louis. And one thing we talked about quite a bit with Ranj, with Michael Kelly, of course, is the future of the Democratic Party, as we've seen some surprising victories across the country from the Democratic Socialists of America. Well, joining us now is Blake Ashby. He's a Ferguson-based Democratic leader, entrepreneur, and author of the new book, Socialism and the Democratic Party, which is a very timely book. And Blake Ashby joins us now. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Very much for the opportunity. And just to complete the title, is Socialism and the Democratic Party, the case for a return to moderated capitalism, available on Amazon.
Perfect. Well, let's get into that, because, I mean, my goodness, if you're watching CNN, you're seeing some Democratic Socialist leaders in states across the country who are running for office, who are winning offices. You're seeing older school Democrats like Van Jones on CNN, former Obama administration, warning against the rise of DSA. What was your motivation for writing this book?
One of the challenges for our country is almost 90 years ago, we made a compromise where part of the world was going toward extreme socialism, part of the world was going toward unfettered capitalism. We chose a middle path, moderated capitalism, where we stuck with the free market, but we used the power of democracy to ensure more people benefited, more people had a chance to participate, and everybody played by the same set of rules. And that compromise is why we have the largest economy in the world. But starting in the late 1970s, the Republican Party started chipping away at that compromise, started chipping away at moderation, and as a result, we have the income inequality we have today. So understandably, young people are frustrated with our economic system because they are not getting the same opportunities people that my generation got. But the answer is still that we need to moderate the free market. We don't need to abandon it. We need to go back to doing the things we did and make sure that it benefits everybody.
When you say the Republican Party chipped away or started to chip away in the late 70s at this contract that we had, what do you mean by that? And I know this would be a very long conversation to get into a lot of specifics, but generally speaking.
So there was something called triumphant capitalism. For many decades, we viewed the world as kind of a battle between socialism and capitalism, and then socialism died. And so there was this idea that capitalism has triumphed and our capitalist society has matured and we need less regulation. But essentially, the Republican Party was using the fall of the Soviet Union as an excuse to start dismantling things like banking laws and union protections and the different things that we used to make sure the economy benefited everybody. And it's worth noting it was not just the Republican Party that bought into triumphant capitalism. More than their share of Democrats also bought into this idea that we should have massive deregulation and that our economy would respond accordingly.
When you see the appeal of socialism, or let's say the DSA, to voters, especially younger voters, do you see that appeal primarily on the economic side or on the tear down the whole system side? Because you are seeing for instance, the chair of the Democratic Socialists of America say that they want to abolish borders, that they want to defund the Pentagon, that they want to abolish the Senate. And that seems even more extreme than some of the economic complaints that you're hearing from young Americans.
Absolutely. So one of the challenges for the Democratic Party is there really are two different camps. A younger generation has redefined the word socialism to mean social responsibility. So when most young people talk about socialism, what they're talking about is public education and roads, and they even include national defense. And they are right that ultimately we have a mixed economy. In the 1500s, Bavaria published the beer laws, which specified that if you're going to sell something as beer, it can only have this set of ingredients. Is that government control of the economy? Not quite, but it is some kind of government moderation of action. So most young people, when they say socialism, what they want is a return to the New Deal, and that is not the least bit threatening to the Democratic Party. That is exactly in line with what we want to do. But as you note, there's also a smaller faction that does want to tear down the whole system, and for some reason has bought into the idea that the Soviet Union was not a failure of socialism; it was a failure of something else.
Talking with Blake Ashby, who is a Democratic leader out of Ferguson, and as you can imagine, when you hear things like defund the Pentagon, you know that very, very, very few people actually believe that, but it will be used against Democrats in the upcoming midterms. So how does the party try to hold that off, knowing that the people who are saying things like that are not even close to being in the majority?
You know, it will be a challenge for the party. There's no two ways about it. There are a lot of older voters. I'm 61, so I'm technically an older voter myself, who have locked in their mind the Soviet Union as the example of socialism. So absolutely, the changing of the definition will cause some bumps in the road for democratic messaging. But the other side of that is by moving beyond the language policing and not trying to stop people from saying social democracy or even the word socialism, and instead focus on the policies. That really is what the party needs to do. At the end of the day, the Republican Party is completely out of ideas. They have cut all the taxes they can cut. They've deregulated everything they can possibly get through in deregulation. As long as the Democratic Party sticks to outcomes and avoids getting into arguments over wording, we should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's funny because I would look at the Republican Party, which I see as broken, and I think, my goodness, all Democrats have to do is not be crazy, like just be normal. And I think they could get a lot of victories. And then you see the crazy. You see the DSA. I mean, that's me. I'm editorializing here. But, I see Cori Bush giving a speech. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch is taking a picture of Cori Bush giving her speech. And prominently behind the dais, which, they're aware of who stands behind the dais, are the Revolutionary Communists of America. They're wearing those T-shirts behind her, and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's not great. That doesn't look very moderate.
Absolutely. It really is. Everybody's got their own agenda. I respect that. And historically in our country, the parties have moved because people on the fringes have pulled them in one direction or the other. So it's wonderful that the Democrats are getting back to our economic messaging. It's a little concerning that there's at least a part of the party that does not seem to have learned the lessons of the Soviet Union. And the book, Socialism and the Democratic Party, The Case for a Return to Moderated Capitalism, available on Amazon, got to say that, is actually, it's two books in one, because part of what I do is I do go back to socialist theory and explain yet again why economic socialism is destined to fail. It doesn't matter which flavor you want, economic socialism will not work. And the sooner we can acknowledge that, the sooner we can get back to the process of actually moderating capitalism.
Are there any aspects of socialism that you believe do work, and as long as it's done in moderation, that it can have positive benefits?
We used to have something called utility socialism. We recognized that the cost of running wires to every home was so extreme that it didn't make sense to have three different utility companies. And so once again, we reached a compromise. Utility companies are privately owned, but they're publicly regulated. So that is an example of the government stepping in and looking at a very specific market situation and saying competition doesn't make sense for running wires to the home. Instead, we'll have one set of wires to the home, and then we'll regulate the cost of that electricity. So there are some very narrow cases where it does make sense for the government to be more involved and the market to be less involved, but that is a very narrow set of circumstances.
I know that our country right now, especially in the political conversation and landscape, is not great at nuance. We're not great at making serious distinctions. But, a lot of people who are, in the DSA or support their messaging will point to the Nordic countries. But the Nordic countries are quick to say, we're not democratic socialists, we're a social democracy. And I know the Wall Street Journal even looked at what they called a capitalist makeover in Sweden because some of the things aren't working. The cradle to grave government help isn't working there. Do you think there are real lessons that if Americans wanted to could learn from what works and doesn't work in the Nordic countries, or like political like the political cliche goes, any bad idea works in Sweden for a while?
We should always be looking around the world for examples, but really the best example we have is our own history. We did a pretty darn good job of moderating capitalism for 60 or 70 years. It didn't fail. We just stopped doing it. So more than anything else, we just need to get back to our roots. We need to get back to the New Deal. We need to get back to the idea that the government has a role in the economy, not running the economy, but moderating the economy. There's an old saying in political science, the right to swing your fist ends at my nose. We need the government to make sure people don't get punched in the nose.
So how does the Democratic Party then message for that?
Cautiously. The reality is that all of these races are both national and local at the same time. And frankly, the Republicans have hurt themselves because they literally have been calling anything government does positive as socialism for decades. So that actually blunts their message. They've been calling Social Security socialism for 60 or 70 years. They've been calling Medicaid socialism, Medicare socialism. So as long as Democratic candidates do not get caught up in the language debate and say, look, every time I talk about affordability, they call that socialism. Every time I talk about increasing teacher salaries, they call that socialism. The reason they do that is because they do not want to talk about the challenges actually facing our country. They want to change the subject and get you so frightened that you stop paying attention to what really matters. And what matters is what happens around your kitchen table.
Quick question then. Like I said, I feel like the fringe took over the Republican Party and it broke. It broke. Absolutely. How concerned are you that, like with a victory like Zoran Mamdani, who, his head of like rental and of housing in New York City said the government has a sacred right to seize property, right? Like pretty extreme language. How concerned are you that will become the Democratic Party and the Democratic Party will also break and not be recognizable from what it was?
Not concerned at all about that. There's an old saying, reality bats last, and the Republican Party is realizing there's an emotional truth and a factual truth. And absolutely the emotional truth can win elections, but you can't govern on the emotional truth. You can only govern on the factual truth. The emotional truth might be that measles vaccines are some secret plot to destroy our country. The factual truth is they keep people from dying. So that abrupt meeting of reality that the Republican Party is going through right now, Democrats are watching very closely and are very aware that we cannot have that same madness happen here. It is fine for a few people on the fringe to talk about the things they talk about, but in the middle, we need to stick to reality. We need to stick to what we know works, and what works is moderating capitalism.
So we are now just about 3 months away from the midterms. Knowing what you know, what do you expect to actually happen here?
I think we've got a good chance of taking back the House. We've got a slim chance of taking back the Senate, but you never know, it could actually work out. Working in our favor is that Donald Trump is perhaps the most inconsistent president we have ever had. And people are just starting to get tired. Even my Republican friends are starting to get tired of the madness, and they have a harder and harder time justifying what he does. So if Donald Trump keeps on being Donald Trump and the Democrats stick to their messaging, which is absolutely economic populism, absolutely kitchen table issues, then we should have a pretty good midterm.
Blake Ashby, Democratic leader and author of the book Socialism and the Democratic Party. We appreciate your time today. Thank you for visiting with us.
I just have to say it.
It's on Amazon.
On Amazon, but also the case for a return to moderated capitalism. That really is a key point. We need to get back to what we know works. And thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
I bought the book this morning.
Oh.
So I'm looking forward to reading it.
Very
Yep.
good. Now,
my dad says there's too much economic theory in there, but it is what it is.
You can't have too much economic theory. What's he talking about?
yes, you can. Yes, you can. Thank you, Blake.
All right. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
That is Blake Ashby with us here on KMOX. And speaking of capitalism, I went to Costco yesterday.
What?
My God, I had an experience. Tell you all about it when we come back on KMOX.
Can you believe politicians nearly doubled state spending since 2019? Yeah, that's twice the rate of inflation.
What do we get for all that extra spending? Nothing.
Yeah, and get this, over 200 loopholes are buried in our tax code, written by lobbyists for wealthy corporations.
Our tax code is rigged against us.
We get taxed on our paycheck, our home, everything we buy.
I guess somebody's got to pay for all that spending.
That's why we need Amendment 5. It puts politicians on a leash.
Forces them to cut taxes and control spending, whether they like it or not.
Amendment 5 closes the loopholes, eliminates income taxes, cuts property taxes, and gives $3,000 a year to average working families.
We decide, not the politicians.
Amendment 5 is the biggest tax cut in Missouri history.
I'm voting yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC. Mark Ellinger, Treasurer.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plate. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
All right, I'm having a little experiment that I'm conducting on my own, and I'm not exactly sure how I feel about day one of it.
Uh-oh.
So,
Is it RFK's steak and sauerkraut diet?
no, it is RFK's drown everything in beef tallow diet.
Okay.
And then follow up with heroin.
Devil's advocate, I do use beef tallow on my skin. It's very
Okay.
moisturizing.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really, really good for your skin.
So I decided, I don't know, I've been toying with the idea for a long time of getting a Costco membership.
Yes.
But
yes,
the question
a real
is,
American.
The question is, does a single guy need a Costco membership? But I thought, it's $65. Let's see what this is all about. I know.
That's a pretty good deal. The $65 a year. I thought it was more.
Yes, all I know is that if I save $65 over the course of the next year, I have paid for it. Right?
Yes.
So I took my first ever trip to Costco yesterday.
Really?
I did.
Oh, I wish I could have gone.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. First of all, I got to go pick up my membership card out of ink. So I didn't get my card. I have a temporary piece of paper.
They were out of ink?
They were out of ink.
For a bulk store, that's not great. For
That's
a
what I
store
said.
that sells thing in bulk.
And I was like, don't you guys have that right over there? Or no? Is that not a thing you have?
Isn't that 5-gallon jug behind you?
We get it from Sam's
Magenta?
Club here.
So no ink at the Costco. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
All right. So I didn't. I got the little piece of paper, no barcode or anything on it, which comes into play later. So I go in, because you get your membership, then you have to go back out, and then you have to come into the entrance part. And I have to tell you, it was Monday afternoon. Way too many people at Costco for a Monday afternoon. I was told that Saturday, Sunday, you do not want to go to Costco because it is like you're at Lollapalooza.
It is.
8 million people all in this area.
With oversized carts.
That's okay. So I think that's part of the problem because on a Monday, it was like bumper cars in there. What the absolute are we doing? Why is everybody there on a Monday? I have an unusual job that lets me out of work earlier in the afternoon where I can go to Costco on a Monday. I didn't expect there to be 8 million people in Costco.
There are always 8 million people in Costco. And on the weekends, there are 12 to 15 million.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
And I don't know how they fit all those people even in that big place. But I will tell you that I think you could get your entire wardrobe at Costco.
Yes, your yard, your car, your refrigerator, everything could be taken care of.
I bought so much stuff yesterday.
Okay, tell me some of the things you bought because Kirkland Select, which makes clothes and taco platters, might be the best brand in the history of brands.
I'm glad you brought up Kirkland because I may have bought the best underwear I've ever had. Kirkland's underwear. Really? Dude, it's incredible. It's comfortable.
Is it too personal to ask what kind of underwear it is?
Boxer briefs.
Those are the ones that look like little shorts?
Prove it.
Yeah. Well, I don't have them on now.
Oh.
But they're very
what
comfortable.
What are you wearing? No. Boxer?
Nothing.
Boxer. Gross.
So let me tell you.
Boxer briefs, the little shorts ones.
Very comfortable.
Stretchy.
Great. Oh. God, I love them.
No crunching?
No crunching? Oh. No. They're the perfect underwear.
That's awesome.
The best unders I have ever had in my whole life. Kirkland underwear from
now
Costco.
I want to buy Kirkland underwear.
Dude, they're so good. I'm actually upset I didn't buy more. I bought what? It's it's a sampling. You walk around the store and they have food samples. There should be underwear samples too, so that I could try these on and go, ooh, nice. Okay, let me buy more. than just this one
Yeah,
box.
that's a great idea. I've never thought of underwear samples.
Yeah, like 4 pair of them for like $15.
Wow.
You cannot buy underwear for $15 anymore.
No, you can't. They tried to sell me, not Costco. Costco would never do that. But, you know, your Instagram algorithm tried to sell me underwear for $35 a pair.
That's okay.
A pair.
What was it? Yeah, I know some of those companies are really, really expensive. But I'm telling you, man, these unders.
Okay, well, what other? This is incredible.
Bought a pair of pants, bought a pair of shorts. I bought a coffee maker.
You know who loves a good Costco pant?
What?
Dave Mark Scores.
Does he?
Loves Costco. And Costco has really
They got good brands.
And their clothes are legit.
Yeah.
My dad got me hooked on the Kirkland brand.
Yeah. Well, there's not just Kirkland, but they do have.
They have Columbia, which is a great
There was
brand.
Columbia. There was Eddie Bauer, Adidas. There was some Levi's there. I mean, they had plenty of good things there. Now, this is the thing I wish people would have told me.
Okay.
Do you know you have to bring your own boxes to take your crap home? Because, all right, I know that the expectation is everything is in bulk. So you have big items, which you don't need bags for. But there's a lot of stuff that's not, and they don't give you bags. So I had all this stuff that I took out to my
I
car.
thought they gave you the boxes, though.
There were no boxes.
Oh, we always get boxes.
There were no boxes. And the lady said, I said, look, to the cashier, I said, hey, I've never been here before. This is my first time. Do you not do bags? Because I see people just walking out with their carts, rolling their carts out, and they just have loose items in the cart. And she said, yeah, there might be some boxes over there.
Oh, you do have to go get your own.
I did, but
They're
I went
near
over.
the front. So they were just gone.
I went, and then I went up to the front, and I said, yeah, I heard there might be boxes. And
Yeah.
the lady goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like,
No,
okay.
that's not true.
That's what she said. She's like, no, not up
Because
here.
They do run out of boxes, and sometimes if you've purchased a lot at Costco and there's only a weird size box left, but yeah, you do have to go get your own boxes. But man, they must have been out.
They were out.
So you had to put you had to
Loose items. I had all these loose items I just threw in my back seat. I didn't like that part.
It was kind of like, I don't want to say the phrase.
What?
When you're not. Never mind. But you are. It's a very popular phrase now, but I feel like it's not appropriate for radio.
Okay, I have no idea what you're trying to say.
You do.
Okay,
About
you tell me.
going on an airplane without watching TV.
Raw dogging it?
That's what you did with your stuff.
I did. Yeah. Just threw all my stuff in there like loose.
That's what you
and
had
meat
to do
just kind of
with your
thrown in there.
Costco
Like, what?
purchases. Your underpants and your meat are rolling around in the back of your car?
Yes. That's exactly what happened.
That's so weird to have ground
Had
beef.
a jar of olives just rolling around back there.
Olives, underpants, and the taco platter just flying helter-skelter in their back seat.
And then I thought, okay, I'm going to get gas since I'm out here. And I get up there, and because they didn't have ink to print me a new card, I had no way. You have to scan your card.
yeah.
There's nothing to scan.
Oh,
so I
wow.
get out to pump gas, and there's a guy waiting behind me. And I look at the thing, and I'm like, oh, it says to scan here. Well, I can't. And I get back in my car and just drive away.
Yeah.
And I know that guy's thinking, this idiot thought he could just get gas at Costco without a membership,
He
didn't he?
did. So I'm
I
sorry.
have a membership. They just screwed up yesterday.
Yeah.
Send me my card, Costco, you jerks, and get some ink.
And boxes.
What in the absolute hell? You owe me a tire for that.
He had his ground beef in his underpants rolling around.
And you owe me gas. I want free gas now because you made me come out there for nothing. I did save a lot of money yesterday.
Yeah, you go get the taco platter. I'm not kidding. It's really good. It'll be a few meals for you.
It's the Chris and Amy Show. Don't forget Oliver Marmol at 12 o'clock on the Gas House Gang. Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and me on KMOX.
All access with Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
When things aren't going well, I feel like there is a responsibility to answer to it. Even the kid that apologized for yelling, let's go, wake up. His seats were the first seats right behind the dugout. You paid good money for those. You get the yell. So if you have an opinion, if you have questions, I'd rather take the time, especially when things aren't going the way our fan base would like, just answer those.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
Don's Garage Doors has been serving families since 1998, and now we're bringing that same great experience to the Lou. We take pride in having a neighbor-first approach to doing business with local technicians who are your neighbors. Don's Garage Doors is new to the area, but we're not new to working extra hard to earn customer trust, one garage door at a time. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors.
Don's Garage Doors, Don's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
84 degrees right now. Hazy and sunny, a high of 90. Tonight, a clear sky and a low of 66.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Your health story is shaped by more than genetics. Everyday choices like nutrition, physical activity, sleep, tobacco use, and routine screenings all play a role in your future health. Seidman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk helps you understand how family history and lifestyle work together, offering personalized insights to support healthier decisions. Knowing your risks today can help protect your tomorrow. Visit seidman.washu.edu/YDR.
Right now, inflation is squeezing your budget. Global events are shaking markets overnight, and if you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs. That's why Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting Retirement Simplified. Find out if your retirement strategy can survive today's economy. Rising costs, market volatility, political uncertainty, and the questions most people avoid. Could you outlive your money? When should you file for Social Security? Is your 401k carrying too much risk? These aren't hypothetical concerns. They're happening right now. Retirement Simplified, August 27th and September 1st. It is complimentary and you must qualify to attend. Call now 636-230-8824 or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. All Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now. And the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Summer is officially here, and that means the family internet, it is working overtime. All our lives are always online, and that's why I rely on i3 Broadband. Traditional cable just can't keep up, but i3 delivers 100% true fiber directly into my home for ultra-smooth, reliable performance. Plus, they're a local provider that actually treats you like a neighbor. Skip the fake fiber. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
Today, the Cards, the Yankees.
Emron Total Access 510. First pitch 6:05.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Tuesday has no feel. Monday has a feel. Friday has a feel. Sunday has a feel.
I feel Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, shut up, the both of you.
Sean called into the station.
Okay.
Didn't want to be on air, but did want me to know
Yes.
that Kirkland blue jeans are fantastic.
I'm telling you,
So
Costco pants are where it's at.
I'm going to try that out next. Hell, maybe I'll go back out there immediately. But yes, my first Costco trip was, I think, fairly successful. Spent more than I wanted. Jacob watching us on YouTube. You can watch the show YouTube. Facebook, KMOX news pages, and then on Twitter, at Chris Amy KMOX. And Jacob says, oh, sweet, naive Ranji, not knowing how to Costco. No, I've never.
He's learning.
Well, I mean, why would I?
He's just a babe.
Why would I need Costco? That's what I'm
you
trying
just
to figure
found
out.
You found out why.
My assumption is I don't need to buy in bulk. It's just me. So why would I?
It's so much. I think the problem with calling Costco simply bulk is that it's reductionist.
Well,
it's far too reductionist.
See, that's on me.
It is on you.
I didn't know.
The nuance of Costco. Also, may I make a recommendation for you? The Kirkland Signature Reposado or the Kirkland Signature Añejo, the two tequilas, are superb.
I'm going to pass on that tequila.
No, but it's very good.
I believe you.
Like, there's Casamigos, which is my favorite Reposado. I know people go, oh, that's basic. That's fine. I like it. I can drink it over ice, a little bit of club soda. Casamigos is very good. I will say, everybody, the Kirkland, if you like tequila, Kirkland Signature Tequila is, you can buy your underpants and your tequila same trip.
I'm very new into this journey,
You know
but
what?
Kirkland has yet to let me down. That's what I can tell you.
I forgot, and you even told me you were going to Costco yesterday. And guess when I remembered that you're going to Costco yesterday? This morning.
When I said that I went?
No. This morning, I was in the bathroom.
Uh-huh.
I am on the last half a roll of toilet paper. I would have said, hey, old buddy Ranj, can you pick me up 700 rolls of toilet paper?
Remember back when COVID was happening?
Do you still?
No, it's all gone now.
Okay.
I just actually bought more.
Set the table. Set the table for people who may not know what we're referring
Well,
to.
I just real quick. I get my TP in bulk. I just like to. I like to have it all.
He doesn't have a problem. He just likes it.
I like it. Well, I don't like to walk around the store with toilet paper because I think that people are probably looking at me and thinking, nah, he's going to go poo-poo when he gets home. I don't know. I have this thing.
That's not how toilet paper works.
So
it's not like buying fresh vegetables that you have only a short time to use it.
I think they're looking at me thinking that I've had an emergency. That's what I think.
I think the emergency is that you're out of toilet paper.
So I accidentally in February of 2020, I had a delivery coming. You know how the subscribe and save on Amazon?
Yeah.
And I had one, and I forgot to cancel it because I had plenty from before. And then within a couple of weeks, COVID came for us, and so did the toilet paper hoarders. And there was no TP anywhere to be found. And I'm rolling in it.
You're in a throne.
Oh, I had so much. I was at work like, hey, guys, you need some?
You were like Scrooge McDuck.
Diving
into his toilet paper vault.
Yeah.
And you just finished the OG batch?
No. I think I finished it before I moved to the new place last year, but it wasn't too far before. Anyway. So when I lost my job because of COVID back in 2020, a few months later, if I lose this job, I know what I'm going to do.
What?
I guess I could be a snowplow driver for MoDOT.
It is, I will say, next to being a park ranger that shoots at people, apparently, your second most wanted job is being a snowplow driver for MoDOT.
It is.
Because you only want to be a park ranger if you get to shoot at people.
Yeah. Now, do I get to be armed in the MoDOT truck? Do I get to drive an actual truck, or are they wanting me to get
You're driving a snowplow. That is a weapon. You think anyone's going to attack you? You could just plow right over them.
Well, that's what I was hoping for. But I know they are looking for drivers.
They are. That's
correct?
actually a real thing. It was on Total Information AM. This morning, as I was driving in, I heard, I don't know, maybe it was Maria Kina. I can't remember. But one of our intrepid reporters had a very serious story about MoDOT looking for drivers. And my first thought was my buddy, Chris Ranji.
Well,
honestly, I think you could do it with this job.
This is what I want. I don't want to drive the truck myself. I want to be in the truck, and maybe I don't want to have to get the license because you have to have a big like a big, what they call it, is it CDL? Is that what it's called?
Commercial. I don't know if that's how that works with a MoDOT truck. That's a great point because they do have to train you, but is it a CDL?
I don't want all that. I'll just sit on the driver's lap and let me steer like Dad did when I was a baby.
A baby? He let you drive as a baby? No. Okay, so you're sitting on the MoDOT worker's lap in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you're going to have to raise the steering wheel a bit.
I also have,
it'll be crunched.
And I'll have my weapon on me.
You'll have your weapon on you. Will you be pushing the pedals?
Whatever they allow me to do.
Okay.
Whatever they allow me to do is fine.
What if you are just the scooper guy?
What do you mean the scooper?
Like, he's steering, but does the scooper, do those scoopers?
They raise and lower.
They raise and lower, but they can't.
But the driver does that.
But what if you did that?
Oh, just raise the lever up and down? I don't know. That seems like, I'll do it if that's all I can do.
I have an idea. Here's how you can get your practice before you approach MoDOT with your seemingly thin resume.
Okay.
Find the excavator on the dirt pile in Soulard and ask for a lesson.
Well, that guy has plenty of time because every time I go by, he's looking on his phone.
Yeah.
So...
But was he there or not there when you checked? Was it yesterday? When did you check?
Well, I went late at night.
Well, you can't go late at night.
It was well after hours. So the excavator was locked up and he wasn't there.
Is the pile getting bigger again?
It's not getting bigger. It's not shrinking to my liking. It's not shrinking at the pace I would like to see it go down. So people in Soulard still dealing with the giant pile of dirt. It is smaller, but it's just not. I need a little bit more progress, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay, so 314-436-7900, because the show is almost over, and you are missing your opportunity to chime in on Costco. And right now, I can recommend Costco pants, underwear, tequila, and taco platter.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly.
All right. Well, I can't wait. And by the way, how do I apply for this snowplow job? Is there anything that I have to do?
Well, what happened is when I heard the story, when they were giving the details, I stopped listening and started to text you.
Okay. That is just completely unhelpful. I'll look it up for myself, but thank you again.
You're welcome.
The Gas House Gang is at 12 today. Oliver Marmol will join the show after the Cardinals made quite a few moves before the trade deadline yesterday. Then they go to New York, and then they have an exciting comeback win. Alec Burleson, a 3-home run night. What a lot of fun they had in New York last night. So we're going to talk to Ollie Marmol, Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and me, Chris Ranji, on the Gas House Gang. That's at 12 o'clock on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the Suicide Prevention Hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
You've pictured it, the garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh Rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 13th. Let Overhead Door Company of St. Louis upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
The 3-2 pitch with the runner going a swing.
Ready to elevate your game? Join the MBA Sportscasters Forum on Tuesday, September 15th in St. Louis. Learn from Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and Hall of Famer John Rooney as they break down play-by-play, reporting, interviewing, and covering the game. Then cap off the day with the Cardinals versus Giants at Busch Stadium. Step into the booth, sharpen your skills. Go to KMOX.com/events for details and registration.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress, but one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Well, maybe you're on your way to vote today. The primaries are today, August 4th. You get to vote on those big amendment issues like Amendment 4 and Amendment 5. And Ron, our buddy Mark Maxwell, was out at the polling places this morning, and he tweeted out a heartwarming story.
Oh.
Would you like to hear something heartwarming?
Yes.
Okay. Mark Maxwell of KSDK says, a small commotion at my small South City polling place this morning, worth reporting. A first-time voter, unsure of himself, timidly asked for a ballot. Applause broke out. A dozen election judges, most of them old enough to be that voter's grandparents, stood and cheered him on. The judges have been there since 5 a.m. They'll be there past 7. That's the job. Apparently, it still thrills them. No cameras, no speeches, just neighbors welcoming another citizen into the longest-running experiment in self-government the world has known. I love this country.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And a first-time voter heading out in the primaries?
Yeah.
Good on him. Or her.
That person.
Him. Yeah, him.
Yeah, he was probably as nervous about going to the polling place today as I was going to Costco yesterday. Because you know how I felt when I walked in? I felt like everybody looked at me as if I didn't know what I was doing. They're like, oh, look at this first-timer. And nobody clapped for me.
No, they didn't clap.
All right.
Costco is also probably the second greatest American experiment. Amazing store.
I mean, yeah, it's good. So I did, because you apparently have to, I did get a hot dog for $1.50 or whatever it was.
Oh, how was it?
Pretty good. They've got good hot dogs. Too many people waiting for food, and it was kind of like fish in a fishbowl. So I didn't like that. But, yeah, it was overall the experience was just fine.
$1.50?
$1.50, $1.90. I don't know what it was.
$1.50 for the hot dog. And that is a pretty big deal that they have not been raising the price.
It's $1.50 or whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
And you either get a soda or a bottled water, and I got the water, and
wow.
Yeah.
You can go there just for that.
I think people do.
They do. It's like how people go to IKEA just for the meatballs, which I have done.
I have done that too.
Yeah. You can go to Costco just for the hot dog and soda.
Well, I had an experience. We'll see how it goes, but so far I think I'm well on my way to recouping my $65.
Well, Ranch, as a 314 points out, because you were asking, what would I possibly need or do with a Costco membership? You're finding out. But the 314 points out, Chris, you could use it for your hidden family in Chicago.
Yeah, but then I have to drive it up to them.
Oh, there's that, the logistics. So you'd have to wait, every weekend?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's when you see them.
They got Costco up there. They can go ahead and go for themselves.
If this one is this crowded, think of how crowded it is in Chicago.
Probably not as crowded as the movie theaters have been at Spider-Man. Did you see that Spider-Man Brand New Day has surpassed $1 billion globally?
Wow.
It is the second fastest movie to hit that. Avengers Endgame was the first after $1.2 billion during a 3-day opening weekend. Brand New Day made $407 million domestically. Fastest film ever to surpass $400 million at the domestic box office. Because I know you gave the numbers, or you said that
Tom Holland
was doing really well.
Yeah.
But those are some incredible numbers in addition. They made $1 billion already worldwide. That's awesome. Good for them.
There you go.
Hey, speaking of visiting the family in Chicago, did you hear why the Seattle police chief is catching some heat?
He's got a hidden family?
I'm gonna play this feature from ABC News.
Chief Barnes had been under fire since a shooting for the city's lack of basic information to come out to the public and media, and his frequent travel out of the city, sometimes to see family in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about this guy.
So suspicious.
Highly suspect.
That's really suspect.
And similar to what you do.
It's super similar.
I let you guys know when I go, though. It's not a secret.
Well, but you really play it close to the vest. I don't know anything about you that all of our listeners don't know.
All right. Well, that's probably for the best, and I don't want you to know. All right. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. If you missed anything on this show, KMOX.com or wherever you get your podcasts, and Odyssey app as well. And we'll do the show at 9 a.m. But coming up next, it is the Gas House Gang. Manager Oliver Marmol joins Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and me. That is next on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on